I'm bringing up our volume. We are live, and the audience can
Live.
see us.
I was
Woo! Spooky, spooky,
casting a
spooky.
spell. Are we live now? Are we?
Yes, we are officially
Magic
live.
is happening.
How are y'all guys all doing today? It's welcome back to Phineas Flynn's Law. And today, I have on Aaron Daniel Jacob from Milo Murphy's Law and Phineas and Ferb. And yeah, this is gonna be a good time. We're gonna have a lot of fun. So, first of all, Aaron, for those of you who don't know, just give us all a little introduction to yourself and who you are, what you do, and basics.
Well, so my name is I'm Aaron, and I was a singer for both Phineas and Ferb and Milo Murphy's Law, amongst many other Disney shows. I've been doing it for about as long as I can remember. I think like however long Phineas and Ferb has been around. And I went to. We were just talking before the thing went live. I went to film school. Because I wanted to make movies, and we'll see how that goes. And yeah, no, I do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And
So
I'm very happy.
with film school, were you recording for Phineas or Milo while at film school? Did you have to like fly back to record some stuff?
Didn't have to fly back, which was very, very nice. But there was a couple of times where Milo was starting around the time that I was at NYU for 2 years. And so the first couple of tunes that I did, they did what's called an ISDN record, which is where they patch into another studio. So
Oh,
I was at a studio. I was in like a regular studio in New York called Out Loud, and then they were here at the Out Loud in Los Angeles, and so I could hear them perfectly in my headphones, as if they were like right across, like on the other side of the glass from me. And I did the first few Milo tunes there, and then when I moved back, obviously I did all
yeah.
the
Like
rest of
so
those
so
here.
don't break me was recorded over the phone or.
Which one was? I think it was something. I think it might have been Don't Break Me. It might have been Chop Chop Chop. I don't remember which one it was, but one of the first ones that I did was for Milo was around that time, because that would make
Yeah.
sense, like 2013 or 14. Yeah.
I feel like Chop 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 was like part of the pitch for Milo too, because that was like I know they used that in like a lot of episodes before that, before it was
They
like
did.
officially introduced. So you kind of had to have that one done early. So
My anthem.
just 24/7, just in college, you just just listen.
I have nothing else on my Spotify. It's very embarrassing.
Wow. All right. So how did you get to like know dance? You said you've kind of been doing it for as long as you can remember. What was your first time meeting Dan Swampy like? And like how did you just like sing a couple tunes and they're just like, oh, please come on the show? Or was it like through your dad or?
Well, my dad. Okay, so my dad is a musician. He's been a composer and a music producer and guitarist for his entire life. And so in when I was very, very young, he started getting into composing for TV animation. So like he did like the theme song for the Lilo and Stitch show. He did the theme song for the Emperor's New Groove show, Emperor's New School. Like, and he got all these little jobs. And Phineas and Ferb was like the first time that he was able to do the songs and the score for an entire show. And like little old me, like five, like 8 or 9 years old, like I had done like theater. I was a little bit of like a theater nerd. Like I'd been singing, and back then we were living in a house where like he had his studio set up in like a little guest room. I was right across from me. And so one time, and I can't for the life of me remember what song it was, because it's been so many years ago. But he needed a demo singer that didn't sound like a 50-year-old man. Love you, Danny. But so he's like, "Oh, do you want to do this?" And so I sang the demo. Then it was going to be replaced, I think, by Phineas or by Vincent or something like that. And then um, they replaced it, but then they said, you know what, that would be, maybe you should go and do one. So the first song that they asked me to do was Finadroids and Furbots. And that was the first song that I ever did, and you couldn't tell because I was singing through a vocoder, because it's very like distorted and robot-y. And then like season 1, it wasn't really a lot, and then season 2 they asked me for like a couple more, and then season 3 and season 4 is when I kind of became like, all the regular singers that came on to Phineas, like Robbie
Yeah.
Wyckoff and Laura Dickinson and all those folks. I kind of sort of started to match them and all the tunes that I were doing. By the time season 4 hit,
It was just like every other week. It's like, all right, coming to record a song.
Oh yeah, no, it was great. No, but it was very like it wasn't planned. Like I didn't sing it in I didn't like do these demos and thinking that I would be like asked to come back. Like I was really just doing it a favor for my dad. And then they asked for me, which was really
was your dad taking the money for Finadroids and Furbots? He was like, oh son.
Oh, sorry, man. What's a Coogan account, man? I don't...
Exactly. It's like, this is for college. This is for your college fund.
Yes. And boy, did I use it for college. Good God.
Yeah, no. So yeah, first song you sung was Finadroids and Furbots. Do you remember watching that air on TV for the first time? What it was like? Or...
You know what? I have a more vivid memory of going to Disneyland and watching a Phineas and Ferb live show where they did Finadroids and Furbots in the live show. Because I was watching Phineas and Ferb just as a kid. Like I my dad was working on it, but I was a fan, so like it didn't quite like register it for me because I had seen these episodes in all different stages, so I had seen that iRobots episode like dozens of times, so it wasn't really that special.
Right.
What was weird was when I was at Disneyland and then I heard that song. I'm a big Disneyland fan. I love that place.
Yeah,
so like
absolutely.
Hearing even my distorted, weird, roboty voice at Disneyland, that was weird. That was where I was like, this is bizarre. This is not supposed to be like this.
This is crazy.
I'm gonna walk away.
the cultural impact of it, it's like it just starts so small and then just all the way.
I know that was a weird thing for me to be also very young and for me to feel that too. That was really some very crazy, but also very, very special.
Yeah, so like how long did it take from like you recording the Finadroids and Furbots to like that episode airing? Because I think you had mentioned earlier like Chop 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 around like 2013, but Milo didn't premiere till like 2016. So that's like a 3-year gap between when you hear these songs and then they finally make it on TV, right?
Well, that's the cool thing about how Dan and Swampy work is that and this is pretty standard. Like, so a lot of the songs are written a lot of times before even the shows are written. And like a full episode takes about like, I don't know, 10 months to a year to produce from the moment it's written to when it's done and then air it on Disney. So a lot of times my dad, for example, would get songs with no context, like Drusselstein Driving Test Waltz, with no context whatsoever, and just has to make it, and just has to make the song. And then like for him, it would be like 6 or 7 months later, maybe even a year later, the episode would come in, and then he would do the score for it. So like
he'd be like, "Oh, I remember this song from 8 months ago."
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh, that's what this song is about. So it's quite a while a lot of times between when the song is written. It's a lot of times, again, because that's even before the show is written too. They'll have just like an idea and they'll write a song for it, and then my dad will do the production for it. I get to sing it, and then many months later it'll show up at my dad's computer again, and then many months after that it'll show up on Disney.
That's crazy. So did you ever actually help write any songs for Milo, or was it all just the singing? Like, was there ever a songwriting session you were part of?
I wish I had written songs for Milo or Phineas. Unfortunately, I did not. That's all. I have to give all of the credit for the actual writing of the songs to Dan and Swampy, and then the writers too. There's a couple of the writers like Josh Pruitt, Martin Olson, all these folks that were kind of the same crew from Phineas also transitioned over to Milo. It was a similar group of people. All of them were kind of all involved in these popping out these songs every single week. It's just absolutely insane.
It's crazy. I think they had like over 300 is the guy who did a video recently said. It was like, and I mean some of them are just like short music stings too. Like
I think it might be closer to 400 actually. If I remember for Phineas, I think at least. Maybe that number's coming out of songs maybe that weren't used or something like that, or maybe longer versions of songs.
Yeah.
But I think my dad and I were talking. He's got, obviously just for business reasons, he has a list of all the songs that were done, and I remember that list at least being closer to like 400.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of deleted songs that don't make it, or they just like don't fit right in the context of an episode or wherever it is. Mm-hmm. And like sometimes it's great that we get to see them, like Mysterious Force, but other times they're like lost.
Yeah, exactly.
The mystery. It's like, how could you not? Yeah, I can't imagine not hearing Mysterious Force. It's just too good.
The best is when there's a longer version of a tune that doesn't make it into
yes. That's
show. That's always a bummer. I get it as someone who now works in animation too. Like I get it, but it is always a bummer.
I just wish Disney would officially release some of the extended Milo tunes.
Dude, me too.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
I know. The extended Chop 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 has kind of floated around on the internet a little bit. It hasn't fully been discovered, but there's like bits and pieces of it. But
I think like UK Disney released like a music video for it or something. I don't know if that's the full version of it or not, but
yeah,
that's how I get to listen to it.
I think you can hear most of it when the Lumber Maxes sing it in the battle. There's like a Battle of the Bands episode, and they brought in Tyler Mann to cover it as his character, which is really fun. Again, you record the whole song with Tyler Mann, and we'll never get to hear the full thing. But man, yeah,
he's great.
Yeah,
God, he's such a good singer.
No, he really is. So it's often a bit hard to tell, who contributed to which episode because the credits are all just basically music by Danny Jacob. But I know on your site it said that you've had some like contributions to the musical score for Milo. So like, what's the process with getting credit? Is there like a certain amount of music you have to do to be credited on the show, or?
So this is funny. So when I was older and my like first job while I was in college and like right out of college I was basically my dad's composing assistant because like I just growing up in that house, growing up with my dad, my mom, it was also for the longest time a music supervisor and the head of the music department over at DreamWorks. So like film music was all kind of in my house. So like I had like an ear for composing, and so I wanted to sort of learn more about that. So I became his music editor and his assistant. One of the jobs that I did for Milo was not often, but sometimes if there was something big that he was working on, I would take music that he had already written for Milo and cut it in,
rearrange it or kind
of rearrange it or something like that.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I would write something that he did not write that I wrote on my own, and I would just slip it in.
Oh.
and then when he approved it, I would then reveal. I was like, "Oh, guess what? You didn't write that. It was me." And it's me. He was fortunate enough to give me what's called Q sheet credit for it, which is not it doesn't mean a screen credit, but it means that on like the back end paper that shows like who wrote each piece of music, like my name is on there, and I get to put that on like my resume and all those different things. So like I didn't do that often because it's bad. Don't do that. Don't do things you're not told to do. But I did that enough, and then eventually he started to trust me to where there's a couple of cues in there kind of spattered around that I was able to do. A lot of times I'd write something too and he'd rearrange it in his way too.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that happened. It's not really
that's
not really
that's really cool. You kind of get to add your own little touch to the show, and make your dad proud. And
yeah, no, it was a good, like I'm thankful enough to have been able to be given that opportunity, so I could like put it on a resume or something like that, because that's something nice that I can now tell people that I did, which was really nice.
Yeah, I love how both the shows kind of play around with the certain notes of themes. Like I know there was like a Doof's thing you did where you took the same notes that are in Doof's theme, but you arranged them into something that was like much more menacing. Like I think it was the Doof reveal sting from the end of Fungus Among Us. And it's like dun dun dun, but it's like it's instead of the dun 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 dun, it's like the typical. It's usually like played on like a muted trumpet or something like more comical. You like turn it into this epic, dun dun dun, big reveals. Yeah. It's like very, very cool.
That sounds like something I would do.
Have you played with Have you gotten to play with Cavendish and Dakota's theme at all? Did you get to do that?
No, but I loved it so much that I did, and it's probably on a computer that doesn't exist anymore.
No.
I did do like a full big arrangement of it and
what?
like extended it and turned it into something else. And I wish I could share it, but I don't.
It doesn't exist.
But it's on.
Wow.
Yeah, it's I did do that just for fun, not actually because I was like kind of slided in, but because I love that theme so much, so I did my own little bit of it.
Yeah, no, that's the full Cavendish and Dakota orchestral score. I'm freaking out. That just sounds absolutely incredible. Man, yeah, that's a good thing. Did your dad write the Cavendish and Dakota theme, or was that one that Dan and Swampy kind of put in?
So like all the little tiny like musical motifs that happen in the score, for the most part, my dad wrote. When it comes to like the songs themselves, that's more Dan and Swampy. A lot of times, I mean, as most composers will do, if there's like a song that's tied to a piece of music, to the movie or to a television episode, they'll use that melody in the underscore. But like Candace's theme, like the dum dum ba-dum, ba-dum, that's I think my dad made that one. The Cavendish and Dakota theme, the not Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated, because that's a song,
Right.
but he did use that ad nauseum for forever, and now I think it's Dan Povenmire's ringtone, which I think is really funny.
I think you got to sing the version of it where it's like Drusselstein Department of Motor Vehicles Registration.
Yes,
that
I did.
thing.
Again, see, you know much more about the things that I've done than I do, which I think is fun.
It's the wiki.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the wiki. A lot of times, if somebody asks me a question, I was like, "Oh, did you do this?" I will be like going on the wiki because the wiki knows more about.
I don't remember. Was that film before film school? That was just like everything's wiped.
How old was I? What year was it?
Yeah. So, what's kind of the when you were not necessarily at college, but like when you were in California where they record, like what's the recording process like? Do they like would they send you the first draft of the song and you rehearse? Like this is after you stopped doing scratch and or demos. It's like they send you the first version of the song and then you kind of practice it at home, or do they just like bring you into the studio and they work you through the song, like kind of directing you? It's like, oh, we want this vocal tick and this, or like what's the process? Do you hear the first draft? All that.
Yeah. So like when I'm at home, when I was in Los Angeles, my dad records most of the vocals in his own home studio, so that was kind of nice. I didn't have to like necessarily go and like drive out to Hollywood or something and like try to find parking, which is nice. I could just go over to my dad's house, pet the dog, and sing a song. There are some times where they've brought me in for like an actual like session for whatever reason. There's always reasons that are not currently clear, but a lot of times what will happen is I'll get when I'm brought in, a lot of times my dad has either produced a majority of the song, or he'll have just done, maybe he'll have done the whole thing, or maybe he'll just do like a piano and drums or something like that. And I'll get that, and I will listen to that forever in my car. And I will then, so I'll have a little bit of rehearsal time. A lot of times it's like a day or something like that. I've gotten songs like, maybe like 30 minutes before, which has been kind of exciting. Sometimes I'll figure it out on the day, which is really exciting too. And then I'll go in and I'll record it. And then sometimes, and now that I have my little like big old like weird mic. Oh, it's blocked by this.
There it is.
I have this like, my sort of like studio quality microphone that I have in my apartment now. Like if there's a lot of times there'll be pickups. So like they'll change a lyric or they'll want a melody change like way late in the game. And sometimes I'll go in to do those. A lot of times I can just do them from home because they're really small.
Just throw on some reverb and EQ it and it'll all be good.
You know it, man. Pro Tools.
Yeah. All right. So you got to be the singing voice for Zack on Milo Murphy's Law, tying from Mackay Curtis's performance, and the transition from singing to speaking, I'd say it's pretty seamless. So is there a way that you practice singing in different accents or styles when you do that? And was it like a process to audition for the singing voice of Zack? Or are they just like, you got it, you got the job?
That was another instance of I sang the demo just because I just sang the demo, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we're just gonna keep you. And I was like, what? Which is that was really special because like I sang like lead vocals, like I was the main singer on a couple of songs of Phineas and Ferb. I didn't really get to sing as a character,
right?
Or like a recurring character. A lot of times like there's the B-Day episode, I think, from Phineas, where I'm like there's the guy that sings that's like a guy in like a hat or something.
Yeah,
like that's what the closest that I can get to being a character. But like a named character, somebody I hadn't had the chance to do that. So when Chop 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 got approved with my vocal, they just decided that, oh well, Zach's gonna sing a couple more songs and then we'll just have Aaron do it, which is very, very special. And like I didn't expect that. And Mackay, who I haven't met in person, but is just over Twitter and is like the sweetest human being on the face of the planet. has always people compliment him for Chop Chop Chop, and he's like, no, it was Aaron. So like he's a really really sweet,
That's
kind
fantastic.
dude. And as for like process, like I wish there was something that I wish I like sit in a closet and did like meditation or something to like get into these characters.
Like,
a lot of times I
feel Zack.
Yeah, I feel Zack. No, a lot of times it's just, at least for like Drusselstein, it's just like, oh, I'm just gonna do a grossly inappropriate German accent and see what happens.
Gas, shift, brake.
No, I mean, I've done voice matching now 3 times for 3 different shows. So I did Zack, obviously. There's one prince in Sophia the First, in the first episode of Sophia the First, that I did a voice match for. And then the 3rd season of The Lion Guard, I got to be the singing voice for Kion, the main character, which was really nice. And that one I had to audition for. That one was they were looking for someone to sound. I think they just wanted someone to sound older because that character had aged significantly in the 3rd season. So that one I had to audition for, and there was people, and I got picked just based on my voice alone, which I thought was really, really, really special.
I know the breakout song from that show is, I think, Sasini Sawa. Was that the 3rd season song? I'm not really familiar with Lion Guard, or was that like an earlier season one?
It probably, I think. I know Bo. Listen, I love Bo Black, and he was really really he was really fun, and I was so scared when I got it. I listened to the whole season 1 album just to get ready. Even though the song that I was singing had nothing to do with anything on the album, I listened to it, and that one I think sounds familiar. So I'm not sure.
Okay, so that was the earlier season.
There's a wiki. There's a wiki someplace that knows so much more than I do.
No, that's really cool that you actually like listen to the soundtrack to kind of get familiar with the style, because like each show definitely has its own vocal and musical style, as a whole, that you kind of want to try to match.
Yeah, exactly. I was being grandfathered into something that I hadn't been a part of from the beginning, so I wanted to try to make sure that I was honoring what had already like come before. And Max Charles, the guy that played Kion, he had sung before, so like I wanted to make sure that I did his performance justice. So I listened to all of his tunes that he did from the first season as best I could.
No, that's really cool. So did Dan and Swampy ever tell you that your singing voice was going to be the last thing that people heard in Phineas and Ferb at the end of the show? And how did that make you feel? And was that one particularly scary?
That whole period in my life is very blurry to me, but because of like that was a year. What year did Phineas and Ferb end? Was that
the last episode came out in 2015? But like the only episodes that aired in 2015 were Act Your Age and Last Day of Summer. So it was like,
okay, great. So that was the year that I had gone to NYU, and then I decided to move back to Los Angeles because I didn't like it there. So that was a really weird transitionary period in my life that is kind of like a blur. On top of the fact that the show that I had known, for as far as I don't remember much of my life that didn't have Phineas and Ferb or Milo Murphy's Law in it, and to have been told, oh yeah, you're gonna sing the finale, is weird, and that it was like I was claiming ownership over something that wasn't really mine, because it was Dan's, it was Swampy's, it was everybody that worked on the show, it was all the fans that loved this show, and like the fact that I got to sort of be the send off for it was kind of. I remember like we all went to Dan's house to watch the finale live, and it was all the writers, all the some of the directors. Vincent was there. Allison Stoner was there.
Oh wow!
Like a couple of people just. I know, but it was like a little tiny, like in like a little like living room. We were just all we watched Act Your Age, and we watched the finale, and that I don't typically cry when I watch things. That seeing that, like, what did it feel like to watch Finidroids and Furbots on screen? I don't really remember that, but I do remember hearing that, seeing Phineas wave, and then cut to credits, and that's it. That's all of Phineas. I mean, there was like a couple specials that happened afterwards, but like at the time, that was it. That was all the Phineas and Ferb were gonna get. This thing that had been so close to heart that I can't remember my life without it was ending, and it was me and the other singer Jen Hirsch and my dad, and that was it.
Singing it was the last weird. Notes of time spent together, which that song is particularly brilliant, just because you get, you know, the kind of the soft mellow part of it, the reflecting on the storm, but you also get the epic rock action, and then they at the very end just bring it back to the quiet, you know, more mellow ending and close out with the Phineas wave. So yeah, that's
I think
amazing.
those guys wrote a really poignant and like powerful finale, and I'm just so lucky that I was able to have a little slice of it that I could call mine, because it isn't just mine, it's everybody's.
No, yeah, it was definitely gonna be hard to top "Summer Belongs to You" as far as like a big ending song. So I think they did a really good job, and definitely just the whole thing. So, is there a song from either series that you still like to sing a lot that makes you laugh or cry? Well, I'm guessing not cry, because you said you don't usually cry when you listen to or watch things. But like, is there a song that still will make you laugh when you hear it?
From Phineas and Ferb, for some reason, Disco Miniature Golfing Queen gets stuck in my head on a constant basis. Constant. And I don't know why. And it makes me laugh a lot.
It's a catchy one.
It's a really weird catchy one, and I love it so much. From Milo, it's a song that I did, but it's honestly one of my favorite things that I've ever done is taken a stroll from Milo.
Oh my
Murphy's
gosh,
Law.
taking a stroll.
That one gets stuck in my head a lot, just because that sounds like, the way they wrote it, it sounded like it came out of the American Songbook. Like it came out of like one of those like 1920s, 30s jazz songs that people like redo over and over and over again. And I did my like stupid radio announcer voice for it. But that gets stuck in my head too. And that one always makes me smile too, just because that was a great tune to be able to sing.
I think they added like a little radio twinge to that one too in the final version. Or it's like it's not enough to make it sound like it's coming from a radio, but it's rustic. And maybe
they did it so like the first part of it, I think they put through a filter. They put through an EQ filter to make it sound all crunchy and tinny. And then like when the song when it cuts more and when it gets more into the montage, the sound opens up and it's just me sounding like I have a bunch of snot in my nose singing, and then it goes back to the radio. That one gets stuck in my head a lot.
Did they use the full version for that one in the show, or is there a third verse?
No, that one's actually all of it.
That one's all of it. Okay, that's good.
That one's the whole song. Gratefully, a lot of them are really short. A lot of them are just sort of written to be 2-minute songs, just because that's all you can really do in animation.
Right.
That one I can happily report there is no other version of the song that I know.
Woo! We got the full. Did you sing "Just Messing Around" as well in that same episode?
That's a good one. Yeah, that's always fun to learn that I'm doing both of the tunes for both episodes. Or like two episodes two songs in one episode.
That's kind of fun with Milo. They were able to stick two songs in like the same episode sometimes, which is pretty fun.
That's always fun. And again, because I record them forever, way in the past, I have no context. I have no idea that this song is going to be connected with this song. There's a song, "This Is Really Happening" from Milo, where everybody's in slow motion. I had no idea what that song was going to be about. So it's always just fun to realize, I did that song a year ago, and now it's in this very silly montage.
No, that's crazy. What did you really? Whoa, calming down. did you sing? What's it? "I Chase You, You Chase Me" from season 2?
Chase Me. That sounds familiar.
Yeah,
I think I did that one. That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, that was I think my favorite from season 2, because that one was just really catchy. The way they had like a whistling tune behind it in the final version.
Oh yeah, it's like, so "I chase you, you chase me." Yeah, that one. Yeah, I did that one. Yeah, I did that one.
And they actually,
again, I don't remember.
They played that one the full version in the episode too. So that's probably why I like it, because it's like, I actually hear the full thing.
That's awesome.
No, but that's crazy that you sing them just so far away, and then you just hear them in the episode, and it's just like, because that song has no connection or context to it.
I imagine Dan and Swampy in some cardboard box somewhere in Burbank, just writing all these tunes, and then all of a sudden they just show up as these beautifully produced songs that are like record quality. That's Disney magic, is what that is.
Definitely, that is the real Disney magic. So let's see. So I know you've written some scripts according to like your personal website, and you've done some directing and some editing. and you've supervised for a couple animated series for Netflix, which seems to be one of the newer things. So, what's exciting you the most now in your career? And do you have a particular end goal or dream project as a filmmaker? Like, there's something where it's like, this would be, I've made it.
Yeah, well, yeah, my full-time job, because everybody's got to keep the lights on, is I work at a company called Bento Box, and they do a bunch of animated shows for a lot of different networks. Their biggest thing is Bob's Burgers. We don't get to touch Bob's Burgers. I'm in a whole other building. But I do like post-production coordination for that company. But yeah, no, I went to film school, so I was trained mainly. I ended up landing on screenwriting. Like that was the thing that I really connected with. But then there's that other composing thing that I kind of discovered just because I grew up in that house with my dad and with my mom. And like I've been able to like really hone, or at least try to at least hone my skills in like both of those fields. So like the writing and the composing. Like I do a lot of like my friends like thesis films, like when they came out of film school, like
Yeah.
I would do I would do the music for their movies because they were too scared to talk to the music majors. And that's something like I've really been trying to like get really good at that, because I'm not a classically trained musician, so like I have to like work overtime to make sure that like that sounds as good as it can possibly be. And the writing is something I can do whenever I want. Like I've written a ton of different things. I've made some of the things that I've actually been able to make into little short films in school or outside of school. And like I think like either of those two, being in like following the music path and being a composer or music producer and keeping the singing in my life, in either of these would be that. But like being a composer or being some sort of a writer or like an executive producer on my own TV show, or like being a staffer in a writer's room like that, I would love either of those two things, with the singing kind of being something that I could always like fall back on
Do on the
because I feel
side,
comfortable in
yeah.
it.
So you wouldn't really consider
Yeah.
professional singing unless it was tied to a film aspect of some sort?
I mean, I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't. I wouldn't say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't. I
It's
can't."
like we signed you on for an album. No, please.
No, please, you mock me. No, I would. I mean, that would be amazing. It's not something that I ever expect. I'm very, very like the singing is always something that I got to do. It wasn't. It was like a fun thing that happened randomly that like at least I don't think could ever be I never, or at least I never thought of it as a career, just because I kind of just stumbled into it one
It
day.
wasn't at the forefront of
So
you.
it
It wasn't
never
something you
felt
like
like,
actively pursued.
right, like I wanted to make movies. I wanted to be that guy, but the singing has always been something that I've been grateful for. Because it is a job. There is a little bit of money that comes in with it, but like again, because I kind of stumbled into it, because it wasn't something that I originally thought, it's never something that I ever considered. Now, if somebody said, "Hey, do you wanna make a record?" I'm gonna say yes, of course I am. That sounds like a lot of fun. But I right now at least I love the ability to make music. I love the ability to write stories. Like those are the things that I do really, really late at night to be happy. So like if I could turn that into a career, obviously that'd be great. And the singing has always been in my life, and I know will always stay in my life in some way. So it's not like I'm gonna ever lose that if I decide to pursue something else.
No, that's really good. Have you ever actually gotten to pitch like a show or a movie to a group of executives or
um, I did once. And I will not name names
No,
or
no,
say
of
say
course, no.
anything. And it was the kind of thing where like I was very fortunate enough to have been given the opportunity, but it was right as I was finishing college.
Oh, so you're kind
Um,
of in that weird transitional period that you're talking
right.
about where
So like
everything's
I
just
was
kind of
exactly. So
flying.
like I was very, very like I was in that we talked about this right before, but like I wanted to finish, like I wanted to get that degree. And I wanted to like, for that to be my accomplishment. And like I was in a place where I couldn't like, if I really wanted to like sit down and like refine, because I went in for a pitch, they gave me notes, and I couldn't wrap my head around putting attention into that when I was also trying to put my attention into finishing
Right.
um, school. But another thing that happened that was really cool, the feature film that I wrote out of Chapman got optioned to a
Oh,
company out in New York, which doesn't really mean much. It just means that for all the folks that don't know, optioning a script means that they have the right to sell the script on your behalf to other people. It doesn't mean that they're actually going to make the
so it's
movie
kind of like getting an agent for your script, sort
for
of.
like a short period of time. Yeah, because like it means that like for a company or a person is like your script's champion for like 12 months or 18 months. It's no guarantee that it's going to be a movie, but like it was really nice to have somebody who saw something in something that I wrote, and then put it out into the world. And it unfortunately, as it happens to so many other people, nothing happened. But that script it was like a little really depressing World War I movie that I wrote, and it's something that I'm very, very proud of. Um, but I hope to one day get back into a room with somebody.
That's really cool. Are you interested in history at all, since you wrote like a World War One script, or was that just kind of the setting that you applied to the story that you kind of had in mind?
It was a little bit half and half. Like I like this is gonna sound so dark. I love the World War history. I love the World Wars. No, I my grandfather on my mom's side fought in World War II. And
Ah,
so that era and like movies that are set in that era, I've always really liked. I love like Saving Private Ryan. I love all those like Dunkirk. I love all those movies. And World War I, I picked that setting mainly just because like what was going on in that time period and like the reason for that war, of which there were very few
yes.
reasons, kind of fit the story that I was writing more so than World War II, which in my opinion was a more justified war. At least from certain angles. There's a lot more ambiguity in World War I, and the story that I was telling had like that era, had that like era of the same tone. So I
Of kind
decided
of
to put it there.
ambiguity, and it tied the themes together for you.
Yeah, exactly. I picked it because I think it fit for the story. I wouldn't call myself a history buff, but I do love those eras. And I like thinking about those eras, and I like things that are written and made about those eras.
No, that's really cool. Like, do you remember the first time you thought that was it? Was it through your grandpa, or like first
Well,
time you thought that was interesting, or
I think, yeah. I mean, my mom. This is a grandpa that I never met actually. My on my mom's side, he passed before I could meet him. But he flew airplanes over Europe, and it was always something that my mom was always very proud of. To come from that heritage, she sort of bounced around as like an army brat, went going around different places and
yeah,
living in different places. So it's a part of her life that she's very, very proud of. So it was something that she exposed to me, and which it's really interesting. Like both my grandparents on either side came from way different backgrounds. So my grandfather, he flew planes, and on the other side of it, my grandfather on my dad's side, he was a television writer.
that's so
So
cool.
like it's I know it's very
You kind of
television
got a
writer,
little
but
bit
he
of
did do it.
everything in there.
Yeah. So like I just wrote something right now that I just wrote a play that like takes place like in Hollywood in the 1950s, and I kind of based it a little bit around my grandfather on that side. So like a lot of it is like I like it because it's like it's relatable fodder to pull from for stories, even though I didn't necessarily live in those eras, but because I came from families that were very, very proud of those heritages. So I was able to learn a lot from them and gain story ideas and a lot of pride, that I could then use in the things that I was writing.
Definitely.
I'm sure your fans of Phineas and Ferb love this talk about World
Oh
War One.
yes, yes. There. The chat is lively right now. We have the infamous. So there's, if you didn't know, there's a. I don't want to say it's a war. I'd say it's more of a slight contra. It's definitely not after talking about.
Yeah.
There's the people who ship Melissa and Zack, and the people who ship Milo and Melissa. And the Milo and Melissa people are very strongly sad because of the Milo season 2 finale. So there appears to be a lot of discussion in the chat about why Milo and Melissa is the better ship.
Why Milo and Melissa's a better ship? I don't know if I want to. First of all, I don't know if I have an opinion, and I don't want to be burned at the stake. I have. I think there are storytelling reasons for why it happened in the way that it did, just based on like the kinds of characters that Zack and Melissa are, the kind
Definitely.
of characters that Milo is like, and I will leave it at that.
That's a good answer. Good answer. I kind of just work with whatever the writers give, and they kind of put Milo and Amanda together from very early on. So,
And I also loved Amanda's character.
oh yes,
I fell in love with Amanda just because she reminds me of a couple of people in my life. And so like she to me, even though she wasn't like me, she was very relatable because she reminded me of people that are like that, who are very motivated and very like excitable, but that are
organized
also
too. Yeah,
organized, exactly, which I'm not, and so maybe I respect her a lot more. But I don't know. I think she's a great character. I think I was really pleased that character was
definitely.
introduced.
And from a writing perspective too, like she's the yin to Milo's yang, where Milo's all the chaos and disaster, and she's the organization and perfection. And
Exactly.
from a writing perspective, makes for a strong
Yeah,
ship.
it makes sense. Like it makes sense. Again, my opinion is nebulous and void, and we'll stay that way. But yeah, I love all those characters.
Yeah. All right. So, what advice would you give? I mean, you kind of fell into this, but what advice would you give to someone looking to go into like the animation industry specifically? You know, as far as music production or singing, like maybe from how your dad got in there, or like the other fields within animation? Because I don't think, do you draw or no?
No, God, no. I wish. I am so very envious of the people that draw. My job in all the things that I've done for animation. So in this case, it's been singing, and then production, are all things you can do without knowing how to draw a stick figure.
Yeah. So for the people who like can't draw, what advice would you give just for the industry as a whole?
I'll say this. I think for the production job. So if you want to do the production-y things, the way that I got that job was kind of, I was in the right place at the right time. This company was looking, needed a position to be filled very, very quickly, and I had just had a little bit of animation in my background because of the music editing that I did for Milo, and then I interned with an animation company during college for like
Ooh.
2 months. And and they were looking for somebody. They needed someone immediately. They took a chance on me, and I've been working there for a year and a half. But a lot of it, for people that want to go into animation production, there are so many Facebook groups that are, one of them is called like Awesome Assistants, which is like a specifically animation assistants and production coordinator like Facebook group. And everybody's always talking about things and talking about different openings that are maybe not listed on the job websites. And like, I would say if that's what you want to do, try to get the first PA job that you can find.
Yeah.
And just take a leap of faith, because somebody will be hiring out of desperation, because it happens all the time. People quit, something happens, and they have to leave.
They still have to meet deadlines.
They still have to meet deadlines, exactly. And then as it comes to singing, I wish I could say that like there is some like thing that I did to get into it. I'm very privileged to have been in a position where I had a lot of opportunities that a lot of people have. And I try to stay as humble as I can about that, because, you know, I get this question a lot, actually. A lot of people ask me like, oh, how did you get into it? Do you have an advice for people to get into it? And it's tricky for me because
Nepotism.
yeah, nepotism, exactly. I like to think that the nepotism, quote unquote, opened the door for me, but then it was that I tried to make sure that I never clocked it in. Like, I always wanted to make sure that my work was top quality, that I was continuing to get jobs because I was good, because they wanted me to come back, and because I was reliable. And so I think when it comes to, if you want to go into voice acting, if you want to go into animation singing, I would say, first off, the same thing that the same advice I would give to someone who wants to go into film: just make things, like sing things, sing it, write. You know, as I would say, write a bunch of scripts. Don't stop writing. Write for yourself. Finish something and then move on to the next thing. And I would say the same thing for singing. You know, sing your favorite Phineas and Ferb song, or write songs, put them on YouTube. Make a reel. Make it like a good like 2-minute reel. And just have that at the ready for the time when you meet someone that needs it, because the people that are going to be elevated, the people that are going to get these opportunities, are the people that are ready for it. They're going to be there for the people that have dedicated their life to singing, or that have all of this real material. That's like, of the people that I know that got into it from the ground up, that's how they did it. I was fortunate enough to have sort of a little bit of a kick into the right direction.
Right.
And so I think that for someone that wants to do that, it's what I'm doing with writing right now, because I really want to write. I want to write TV. I want to write films, and like I needed to just get out of my head of being like, oh, I'll write when somebody pays me for it. It's not. You just assume that's not going to happen, and write because you love it, because it makes you feel good, and that eventually when you're at a party, or you run into somebody at the subway, that needs something, or you have a job like I have, and you get to have a conversation with an executive producer. You have this stack of things that you've written that you can show for yourself,
right?
And that's only going to happen if you commit to doing it without a deadline, or without somebody asking you to do it. And that's what'll get you all the way to the top.
Be prepared with your elevator pitch, right?
Exactly. Be prepared with your elevator pitch. Have a ton of scripts. Write a bunch of spec scripts. Write a bunch of original things. And then as a singer, do a bunch of covers. Put them up on YouTube. Like, have things to show.
How viable are spec scripts nowadays? Because like, I know with writing, especially on Twitter, writers will be like, please don't send me ideas because I can't do it. Are spec scripts still like a viable way to get into the industry, or is that kind of
it depends, honestly, because I've taken like general meetings with a couple of people, and like Dan Swampy, I'm grateful enough to be able to be on a talking relationship with them, that I can actually talk to them and ask them advice. They've always been like my biggest, particularly Swampy and Dan. I honestly, both of them have been like big champions of my creative work. But I've also taken meetings with other people, and it depends on the executive producer. It depends on who's creating the show. Because it's literally split down the middle. It's like some executive producers, some creators want to see that you have the ability to match somebody's voice.
Right.
So in which case they'd want to see a spec of something to say, oh, they wrote an episode of, like, the spec that I had in my back pocket was Daredevil. I had a Daredevil spec because I was watching that show, and like, and I thought that I matched that tone really, really well. But
that season 4 got canceled.
I was also like 20. And what did I know? But I've also heard an equal amount of people saying that original things is what people want to see more of, because of these streaming services, because there's more of an avenue for original voices, and there's more of a hunger for people with unique perspectives, that having something original in your back pocket is always going to be more helpful than having a spec. I've heard both. So my advice is to have both. Have a couple of specs. If you want to be a television writer, have a couple of specs in your pocket from shows that are currently in the air, and write a couple of original pilots. Again, have the stack. You don't have to literally have a stack, save some trees, but like, have the stack of things that you can show for when you're eventually given the opportunity to show it.
Especially now during quarantine, when you have all this spare time and the ability to binge TV too.
Exactly. Listen, it's a very good time to be working on a Netflix show.
I imagine so. They throw everything and anything and everything at the wall, and just
exactly. No,
see what sticks.
The show that I work, the cartoon that I work on Netflix as a coordinator, which is very, very mature and inappropriate for the younger people. Is I'm fortunate that because it's a Netflix show and because it's animation, that everybody in the crew, who I love dearly, we all get to still work, which is really nice.
Oh, that's nice. You actually get to go in to, is it like socially distanced workplace, or is it just from home?
No, right now it's from home, and we're gonna there's talks that like at some point within the next month they'll start rolling people back into the office. We have the Bento Box office that I work at's out in for those that are in Los Angeles, it's out in like North Hollywood, in that area. It's hopefully we get back in there, because I'm getting a little stir crazy.
Yeah. So let's see. So we got the favorites list. I know you talked about kind of your favorite Milo songs, but favorite songs from Phineas that you did and didn't sing. So like, maybe favorite song you didn't sing, or just generally top songs that like stick out to you.
Favorite song I sang for Phineas, I'm gonna take Curtain Call and Time Spent off that list, because that will always that exists on a whole other level than I'm is always going to be like the best, like my favorite thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Period. If it wasn't that, I loved doing the Alka Files theme song for the Alka special.
Yes.
That I don't know why. I think it's because it's in a genre of music that I've never heard of before in my entire life, and it just sounds so unique. And I got to like do like a really heavy rock and roll song that I don't normally get the chance to do that. I'm normally like the sweet, I do all the sweet, tender, like teeny bop things, but like that was something that was really fun because that was a style that I'd really never done before. And then song that I haven't sung, Brick.
It's fun.
Brick. It's fun.
That's good.
Brick. I would have to say Brick.
That's fantastic. Well, like, okay, so kind of going back to, before we continue with the favorites, going back to the different voices. I know, like, Fun Spot, or not Fun Spot, Fun House. Is it Fun House? Yeah, Fun House is, like, sung in, like, a very, very different style versus even something like, the Alka Files theme. Like, is that part of direction, or is that after they kind of change it after you're done singing it?
That's me taking a big old chance and hoping that it works. That's me taking a big swing that nobody asked me to do, and then them saying, "Yeah, sure, that's fine." With Funhouse, what was funny about that was that around the same time that I did Funhouse, I don't know if this was I think it was probably a little bit before, I was doing like a teenage musical theater workshop where I was doing Seussical and I was the mayor of Whoville.
Oh.
And that was the voice that I was doing. That was like the voice that I did for that show. So like I was that kind of like like that like kind of like
You're living in a fun house, baby.
Yeah, that's how I sang all my songs. So like that was no work because I was already doing it on stage in this little
for
camp
Seussical,
that I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Seussical, which was that was a lot of fun. But like that's kind of just where that came from. Again, the Drusselstein thing too. The demo for that was definitely not in a German European accent, and definitely just did it and definitely just crossed my fingers.
That one,
and they definitely decided to take it.
That's so crazy. Was there ever a time that Dan Swampy, like, you threw something and maybe it didn't work, or they asked you to do it differently, and you think it was like a better decision, or did they pretty much just kind of go with everything that you threw?
No, I mean they're more often than not with Dan and Swampy. They're really good at. I mean, they're very good. They have very good instincts. They have very good. I mean, I don't know what they're like when they're actually writing these episodes. Like I don't.
It's like
I haven't
completely
been able
different.
To like. It's completely different. From my perspective, it seems like they are very impulsive people in like the best way possible, where they take an idea and they stick with it and they run with it and they don't linger on if it's a bad idea, if it's a stupid idea, because everything they take, it just seems from my perspective that they run with it and they make it as good as it could possibly be. So thankfully all the big swings that I've made in my songs, they've liked. But it's a little bit different with something like, for instance, Lion Guard. Like that was something that I really had to work at, because the style of songs in that show are very unique and very like individual to that show.
Right, because it's got to be, it's tied to like a big Disney property, like the way it does with Tangled or something. There's a certain set of rules with the big Disney animated Renaissance sequel TV series.
I had to work at I had to do that one the 2 songs that I did for that show. I had to do them a couple of times to like really make sure that not only was the voice somewhat accurate to Max Charles, but also like that I was singing in that kind of more contemporary rock style, which is something that I didn't really have the chance to do with Phineas or Milo that much, because I was either like big jazzy Broadway guy or like ripping off One Direction or something with chop chop chop.
Would you say your favorite of the songs you sung as Zack? I think there's obviously Chop Chop Chop. There's Just Roll With It. There's Just Getting Started. And there's...
Oh, no, wait. You cut out.
Oh, I cut out? You can't hear... Can you hear me? Everything looks okay on my end. Test. 1, 2. Yes. No.
There we go. I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me again. Okay.
Yes. Good.
Okay. Whew. So That could have been bad. No, so favorite song from Zack is it? There's obviously Chop Chop Chop. There's Just Getting Started. There's Just Roll with It. There is oh, now I lost you. Nope. Okay, you're back. And
I'm
then
back.
oh,
Sorry,
what's
I'm
the
so
one
sorry.
No, you're good. There's one that they sing in the Battle of the Bands that my mind is blanking. I think it's called
Is that the Just Getting Started one?
Boom Gunpowder Music Gets Louder, Shakes You Down to Your Soul. Bumpy Ride Tonight. That's what it is.
Bumpy ride tonight.
Boom,
Yeah,
gunpowder.
yep.
Yeah,
That's
and
a
then
bumpy ride.
and then in season 2 they do the Just Getting Started, where it's like, would it look better on a marquee if we were called the Sonic 3 or Psychedelic Banshee, Cybernetic Bumblebee?
Dan and Swampy write very wordy lyrics.
Oh yes,
and it's very hard to eat those words and spit them out. It is very difficult.
you have to look at the lyrics to even understand sometimes. 'Cause there'll be certain songs where it's just like describing what's happening or providing commentary on the scene or just
You know, they do what they do, and it works so well.
they really do. But so yeah, favorite song sung is Zack. Was it probably Chop Chop Chop? I'm guessing, just because.
I'd say yeah. I think that's because that was I don't know, man. Like that to me it was, and this is just my opinion, and it's not just because I sang it. But like I felt like that song is very much like the Gitchy Gitchy Goo of Milo, and somebody please tell me I'm wrong. Like I am not the authority on that, but like
no, you're not wrong. That's kind of it, because they bring it back a lot of times. Baljeet sings it in season 2, and
he does. I love that. Again, to have somebody else sing, that was like another weird like dissonant moment where like hearing somebody else sing the thing that I did is always kind of bizarre too. Yeah, I'd take Chop for Milo. I think that's a good one.
Yeah, so let's see. We talked about favorite songs from Milo that you did sing. Favorite ones that you didn't sing from Milo. I'm thinking there's like Pressure, which is the one with Doofenshmirtz and Jermaine Clement, which that was a pretty big one. Weird Al did Rooting for the Enemy. How Do I Do It? There's trying to think of other...
How Do I Do It? How Do I Do It? That's the one that's that's the one that's kind of Bruno Marsy, right?
Yeah, it's the Uptown Funk style song.
Uptown Funk.
Yeah.
That one is great. That one was one I was like, that would have been great. And Rooting for the Enemy, I did the demo for that one. And then Al replaced it. And I love that Queen kind of style, boom 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 kind of style of that song. That one makes me smile.
Yeah, Rooting for the Enemy is really, really good. And then there's No Day Like a Snow Day, which was by Olivia Olson. That was in season 2.
Yeah.
Da 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 da.
I like
da
that.
da 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 da. It's kind of.
That's a good one. God, again, 300, 400 of these songs. And when I hear the little like I barely remember any of these anymore, but like hearing just a couple notes of it is it's bringing me back.
Or how about I'm a Catastrophe? That was one by Dan Povenmire and Michael Koros. They kind of
that's a good one.
That was the rock
that's a good
song
one.
from
I'm a
season...
catastrophe.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Yeah.
that was one of my favorites from season 2. But
hashtag release the Milo album,
please. I really wish there was an extended version of How Do I Do It too, because you're saying that was really good. I'm sure you've probably heard the full lyrics of that. I imagine there has to be a second verse for that one.
I think there is. I don't want to confirm or deny anything, but like I think that one feels like it should be longer at least. I will say that it feels like there should be a second verse to that.
If you're bringing Weird Al in to sing, you're probably gonna get 2 verses out of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. Favorite episodes? Are there any episodes? Obviously, with finale withstanding of Phineas and Ferb, of the show.
Yeah.
Like, just specifically, was that like a joke that you remember from being a kid and watching it that just struck a chord with you? For me, I remember it was the first episode that I saw. It was the Doof backstory about he's going Grievel, and he wants to evaporate the public pool because his mom would never let him swim in the public pool as a kid. And I think I just saw that one episode out of context, and that joke just stuck with me until I could actually...
The joke that kills me is Doof. I don't know what episode it's from, but it's the one that where he's where it's one of his backstories, and it was talking about, I think it leads into him talking about how he was raised by a pack of ocelots, but it's where he's like, both of my parents didn't show up for my birth. That one, again, I don't know what episode that is, but that one I remember, even when I was young, I was like, I remember really, really thinking that was very, very funny.
Yeah, that was good. Their humor just stretches across all ages. It's fantastic. Like, the stuff, it's funny for kids and adults, and
that's what I love about Milo, especially. I know Milo is, Milo at least at this point has the second season. I wish I had more information about that, but I don't. What I loved about Milo so much is that it felt like, at least to me, it felt like they let all the really weird, quirky, off-color humor that was in Phineas. That's all that Milo was like weird, quirky, off-color humor that's very uniquely Dan and Swampy. And I love that. I think the truck driver in Milo, is probably one of my favorite characters. All the bits of just him just on the phone talking about like what he's driving that day. It's just classic, man.
You can really feel that it's like a passion project too, because Milo, like, as a concept, like, I try to imagine pitching it, I'm like, this shouldn't work because the elements are just so, like, you think, okay, we got a middle school kid and he's to deal with things going wrong around him. Okay, and then we got time travel, and time travel is a major plot line, and we have a subplot with the time travelers in addition to them. It's just like, I think Phineas and Ferb, like, at least everything connected through the fact that, like, Perry was their pet and Candace was their sister, and so you had these three things, but they're like all kind of tied to the family. But with Milo, you just got Dan Swampy just able to ad-lib as Cavendish and Dakota in their entire own side plot, and it's just fantastic.
I mean, you listen to the stories about like how it took them a decade to pitch Phineas and Ferb, because that show doesn't work on paper too. It's a show with no conflict. There is no, they are not up against anything. They always win. It's a formula show. Basically the same thing happens every single show. And at the end, it all wraps up, and there's a couple of songs like that. On paper, is a very uninteresting show, but it somehow worked. And I think that I like to think that Disney trusts Dan and Swampy enough to make these shows that are kind of not something that you traditionally see in television, not stories that you would necessarily see and not necessarily work, but infuse them with such unique character and like eclectic references and tastes, to make it this sort of beautiful egg of a show, especially for both Milo and Phineas. I think they both work really, really well. I think mainly because of Dan and Swampy and the writers as well. I always forget about them, and you can't. But their commitment to the weird and the stuff that's not supposed to work. I think that commitment is what makes them really, really good shows.
Absolutely. Would you say you have a favorite Milo episode and or season, like season 1 or season 2? Which one's your favorite?
I like season 2 because it gets weird. It gets real weird. But I will say I love the season 1 finale of Milo.
Fungus Among Us is
Fungus Among Us is
tier.
great. That's a great one. I don't think I did any like wrote any music for it, but like I worked heavily on that episode as my dad's music editor. So like that, I know that episode very, very intimately. I just think it's just like a great piece of action.
It's so well paced, and somehow the comedy and the jokes are like, they're backfiring, but you're never losing any of the tension. I don't know how they do that. That one's it's mind-boggling.
And then the wrap up in the season 2 opener, like I think the whole story there, I think is great, honestly.
Yeah, Hope Stashion story, and then continuing to season 2 with the Octalians, and the much rumored season 3 of Robots, which apparently there's a lot of little things that we think, because I know they teased aliens in season 1 in a couple bits. So we've seen them tease robots throughout season 1 and season 2 with Sid and a couple other kind of one-off gags. And given that Milo's sci-fi comedy sort of time travel aliens, everybody thinks season 3 cyborgs, if it ever gets made.
I would love that. That sounds fantastic. I would absolutely love that.
Yeah. So, is there any specific episode? I think you said Fungus Among Us was kind of your
Yeah,
favorite.
that's I like that. Yeah, I think because the stakes are the highest in that. I think that it's hilarious. It's really exciting. Like it's just a great. It's I don't know. It's a great piece of TV, man. I love it.
That moment when Mr. Draco's standing out in the sun is just so dramatic. It's like
It's the storyboard. The storyboard. I have to give a lot of credit to the storyboard artists on Milo too. They also, again, everybody takes big swings on Phineas and Ferb and Milo, and a lot of them tend to stick, and they're great. Like framing a shot like that with Draco against the sun, like that's great. That's cinematic. It's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, definitely. Do you edit your music to when you did do the music? Did you edit to the storyboards, or were you kind of working with the final animation? Because I know Dan's kind of saying they don't have the final mix done for Candace, but a lot of the animation is in. So like, are you working with the animation or the storyboard or a combination?
So you talking about for the movie?
For when you did Milo. I don't know what you're doing on the movie. I don't think I can do too much yet.
I don't know what I'm doing for the movie. I don't know what you're talking about. But from Milo, it was always the animation was for the most part done. It was, I mean, there's always little changes.
Yeah.
There's always different versions of when color comes back. The score for the most part is typically for TV animation, at least. It's the same with the shows that I work at Bento Box, where it's the at least the first round of color has come in. Yeah. And then the animators are going back and they're doing different edits and they're tweaking different things.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
Exactly. A lot of times, though, fortunately, with both Phineas and Milo, for the most part, timing was locked by the time it arrived, either my desk or my dad's. So there weren't many last-minute changes.
Yeah, I have to assume, especially with like music cues too, because like certain jokes that work with music cues, you kind of gotta have that time just right.
And I've done a couple of animated shorts, like done the music for animated shorts, and I've done them when the timing is not locked, and it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare to have to stretch and squeeze. It's the fact that there was anything locked when specifically Milo, because that's freshest in my memory. Those were typically locked when they would come in. So that was always a nice thing. And then if there was anything that changed, a lot of times they'll do the big mix, which is where we go to a studio they go to a studio out in Burbank, and we sit and we put the episode up on a big screen, and they do all the fun. They marry the sound effects and the music together, and there's some nudging that goes on then too.
So you send them kind of like the file with all the things they can still adjust it if they need to. It's not like you press export.
So one of my jobs was, again, this is very riveting stuff for your fans, but like one of those jobs was that I would create a Pro Tools package so all the score would be in a Pro Tools file that I would zip together and send over to the mixers, and then they could then have at it in whatever way they saw fit.
No, that's really cool. There's lots of different jobs. It's like these are the things you don't usually hear about in the film industry. It's usually just, hey, the actors and the directors, aren't they great?
The whole reason that I wanted to go into filmmaking in the first place was because like I would get the DVDs of movies that I liked, not to watch the movie, but to watch like the behind the scenes stuff that happened,
yeah.
Like all the bonus features. Like that was my bread and butter, and I was like, you could do that that's a job. I could get a paycheck to like walk around and play pretend for the rest of my life. That sounds rad. I want to do that. So all this behind the scenes, I get excited about. I get excited when I talk about like specifically like composing stuff, like composing gear, sample libraries, digital audio workstations, like all this stuff, microphones. Oh, it's I'm in heaven, but it's so I can imagine it being so boring for anybody else, but it's heaven to me.
No, yeah, I think it's really interesting, especially doing a lot of like not necessarily producing, but like video editing and cutting and all that sort of stuff at home. And I'm sure you did a lot of that too with your short films and everything else that you did in college.
Oh yeah, especially when I was trying to be that one-man band. A lot of the guys a lot of the people that I looked up to as filmmakers like were on YouTube. There were a lot like YouTube people, and they were all one-man bands. So that's like what I wanted to try to do. And then I realized in college, there are people out there who are so much better at these things than I am, and will bring something that I didn't expect to a
Right.
project that I'm working on, hiring a cinematographer, hiring another composer. Like I would want nothing more than I would love the idea of making a movie and doing the music, but like the idea of having to bring somebody else in to think of something that I had never really thought of before.
For
That's
your
what
score,
the last
yeah.
couple of shorts that I've done. I haven't done the music for like the last 3 shorts that I've done because I like what other people bring. I want to hear what they have to say, and they'll always surprise me, and I love that.
No, that's really cool. Do you have any like composers that you look up to, like the Alan Silvestris, the Michael Giacchinos, the John Williams?
Yeah.
Those are the 3.
Yeah, that's it. I like recently there are 2 I mean, those guys are great. I had the pleasure of meeting those people. Actually, not John Williams. God, he is on a mountaintop on Olympus somewhere, and may he live another 1,000 years. But I met Hans Zimmer at a thing at the Hollywood Bowl. My mom, I mentioned that my mom had worked for DreamWorks for a time. And there was like a big thing at the Hollywood Bowl where they presented music from a bunch of DreamWorks movies, and I met him there, which was really weird because apparently he had met me when I was very, very young, and remembered me, and that was a very surreal moment that I'll never forget. But I particularly like Hans Zimmer because he's very innovative. I like that at least he didn't necessarily come from a traditional musical background. I mean, he was a musician, but he's not like a John Williams that's classically trained, or someone like Giacchino is the same way too, where like their love of music came from just figuring out what sounded well.
Right.
And then the music theory and all that stuff came afterwards, and like that's where I'm coming from too.
Sound has no rules, or it's just what sounds good and what doesn't.
Exactly. I think there's a lot to learn when it comes to music theory. I think I need to get better at that. Like the two composers that I really love right now that are working right now are a guy named Bear McCreary, and I love everything that he's doing.
His work on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Have you heard
Agents
any of that?
S.H.I.E.L.D. is great. I love that score. I love the 2 Cloverfield movies that he's done. I think say what you will about the 3rd one, I love it, and I think his score is fantastic. And then Benjamin Wallfish, he did the It movies. He did a couple of different things. I love those guys because they blend the classical symphonic stuff so well with this modern style, and it sounds so seamless. But like you mentioned, all the people that I look up to. So
absolutely, whenever I think Giacchino, I always think of, everybody always says the Up montage is their thing. I always think of his work on Coco, like what he did with Coco, and especially a lot of the motifs and just the big reveal shot of the city. There's like just certain musical moments that are just like
that movie. I have never cried in a movie theater, except Coco.
Really?
Coco is the one time that I heaved, heaved, like gasping for breath when he's playing the song for his grandmother.
At the end, yeah.
I believe for Coco at the end, because that's something that I used to do with my grandma. Is I would sing "Fly Me to the Moon" to her to like break her out of her like dementia haze, and like seeing that on screen too, it wrecked me.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, it's crazy, and that's that's why we all love being in film, is because you can put those experiences onto the screen. Other people can relate, and you can just bring them to life with such not only accuracy, but you can enhance it with like music and all the emotions that you're feeling. You can bring them out through filmmaking.
That's why I love music so much, because it's very much a purely emotional experience. You have to be vulnerable to write music. I think you have to be vulnerable to write music, and you have to be in a vulnerable place to really feel and appreciate the music, score, song, whatever. When you open yourself up specifically to film score, the greatest composers are ones that can tell the whole story with just music.
Absolutely.
And you can close your eyes and not necessarily even watch the movie, and you'll know exactly what's going on. I think Giacchino does that brilliantly. I think John Williams is the master of that. I think there's literally nobody living currently that I could close my eyes and just listen to 2 hours of Star Wars movies, of Star Wars soundtrack, and know which episode I'm in and know what part I'm in. That's how good he is.
It's that iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fantastic. Yeah. It's just, yeah. So, who would you say you're the closest to within the Milo Phineas crew? Is there like a specific person that you've met through the show, other than your dad, obviously?
I was about to say dad. Daniel Jacob. No. Well, I think I think Dan and Swampy obviously have my relationship with them has gone through so many different phases. Like I was a kid for the longest time, and now I'm a lot older, and my career path is a little bit closer to what they're doing with their lives, and so I've had a lot more to talk about with them. And I think I would say the two of them. I would say surprisingly, I wish I talked to him more because he's a great guy. But Vincent Martella and I will occasionally tweet at each other, very silly, stupid things.
But I lost you here.
He's a guy that I appreciated.
I lost you.
I appreciate having a little bit of relationship with. I also like. He was in a movie.
I lost you.
Oh, am I back?
Not yet. There you go. Now you're back.
Hey, okay. Where'd you lose me?
I mean, we heard you, but your video was freezing, so I was just pausing you for a sec. But yeah, you were saying Vincent, and frozen again. Oh no, we lost him. He's back.
Hey.
There you go. Yeah, so you were saying with Vincent and the movie,
Yes, so I did a short film with Vincent called Riley, and that was where we kind of became a little bit more close.
Yeah, because you guys are kind of the same age because you grew up both doing Phineas, right?
Yeah, I think he's a touch older than me, but like we were basically around the same age when we were doing Phineas. And a lot of times I would do the demos that Phineas would sing. A lot of times I would just do them, and I would not do a Phineas voice because I cannot do that voice. Vincent's like really the only person that could do that. But there's and then through Milo too with his work on as Bradley as well. We were as we both became a little older, we sort of became friendly, and I'd like to stay in touch with him. He's a good guy.
That's really cool. All right, so we're kind of turning to the comments here. So if you have any questions for Aaron, please throw them in the comments. But we think people want to know your opinion on Scott and Mildred as a couple.
Scott and Mildred. Wait, which?
This is from this is from Milo, the Scott the Undergrounder, and Mildred the Milk Carton. The perennial relationship.
Oh, love. Oh, it's the purest. It is the purest depiction of love that I've seen in media. The French have nothing on this depiction. I think it's. What kind of a question is that? It's pure. It's brilliant. It's beautiful.
and do you prefer Scott and Mildred or Mrs. Morosky and her desk? Because these are the ships. These are the ship wars for Milo.
Sarah Chalk, who plays Mrs. Morosky, is a series regular on the show that I work on Netflix, and I connected with her about this.
That's so
and
cool.
She still feels very strongly about her performance with this desk. That is a god honest tie. I cannot pick between those two. That is a god honest tie.
I love how Dan will tell the story. He's like, yeah, that was actually based off a real teacher that I had in school.
It is based off a real teacher that a slightly more inappropriate story, but it is based off of a teacher that he had.
Wow. All right. So yeah, let's go back. Let's see. Is Amanda Milo's milk carton?
Yeah. I think we all have a milk carton in our lives. I think that we need to look past the expiration date sometimes because they're still good. It's not always. They don't always go bad.
That was a great joke. Scott's like, I'm not being chauvinistic. You have an expiration date.
You have an expiration date.
They're like in counseling.
Yes. I think everybody has their own.
Let's see. Somebody says they've been obsessed with Dance Baby in the last couple of days. Is that one that you sing on a regular basis? Because I know that. When my friend, I don't lead with the fact that I sang on Phineas and Ferb when I meet new people. So when my friends, I'm a Phineas and Ferb singer.
I sang on Disney's Phineas and Ferb. No, but when they find out somehow Dance Baby is the first thing that they'll send me. They're like, was this you? And I'm like, yes, that's me. It's my mom's ringtone on her phone when I call, which is beautiful. I love that song. I love that. Chop 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 and Dance Baby are, I think that's my legacy.
That one's lyrics. I don't know if they just thought, what are the most insane words that we can rhyme? Like they put.
It sounds about right.
Dance baby, soak your hat, ring it out, take it to the laundromat.
Ring it out, take it to the laundromat. Dance baby. It's bananas.
And that's when they actually got to play. They actually just like took 2 minutes out of the episode and played the song, which again.
I know, it's a whole music video. It's really great. It's
brilliant.
Fantastic.
Go down to the pier and get some fish and chips.
Fish and chips.
Move baby, motivate your limbs. Never eat a cactus.
Motivate your limbs.
Never eat a cactus if you're out of practice.
Wise. These are wise words.
Oh man. Let's see what else we got. They're saying in Latin Spanish the show loses so much charm because they replaced the singers, which is kind of sad. I don't know if you've listened to it, but the German version of I'm Taking a Stroll, apparently they got a famous German swing singer to sing the German version. Because I was kind of looking through the different languages, and like in the comments of that one, they're like, oh, it was so cool in the German dub. They actually got like a famous German swing singer to sing it, and it's like really cool. It's like these little things you don't even think about. Great. Like it's getting translated to different languages, and different people are singing it. And
I when I'm feeling a little bit narcissistic, but I also kind of want to scare myself, I'll go and I'll look up all the different versions of like Dance Baby or Chop Chop Chop. Especially like the ones that like don't sound anything. I think don't sound anything like me. And the thing is, all of those guys are fantastic singers too. I feel bad because like vocally, it sounds like all the international people that do my songs are like so much better trained. I'm not like a trained singer. Like I sang in the shower once and decided that I'm gonna just roll with it. Like all these people, they sound so trained and so precise, and I'm like,
I did it.
That sounds great, dude.
Congratulations. You got my part. All right, let's see. Somebody wants to know, and I don't know how much you can say because non-disclosure agreements, but are you singing any songs in the new Phineas movie?
There are songs.
There are songs. In the Phineas. Dan said there were like 13 new songs, I think, for the Phineas movie, which is 13. Exciting.
I mean, there might be actually.
He said some of them were like short, like there's the like really quick bits, but like I'm sure there's gonna be probably.
I think if you added them all up like that, I think that makes sense. Yes, there are songs in the Phineas and Ferb Candace Against the Universe movie.
And that's all you're going to say. Anyways.
That's all I'm going to say.
If you are on Disney Plus waiting for the movie, please watch Milo Murphy's Law. Because if you wanted to get a season 3 and you want to hear more songs from Dan and Swampy, highly, highly, highly recommend that you get those.
I encourage everybody to swarm Phineas and Ferb on Disney Plus, Milo on Disney Plus, and watch the movie. Because I would love to see more of these things.
Replay the Dance Baby video on YouTube multiple times. Get it. Listen to all the fire music. Let's see if Scott X.
I will say that I have seen it. I have seen the movie.
We got. Oh, you have.
I've seen it. I've seen the. I mean, it's
the animatic version. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen like. The story has been told to me on a screen, in ways, and I'm very excited about it.
All right, that's good. That's good. Good to know that it's not. It's not the flaming garbage coming back to the... It's not like, yes, we returned to the series 30 years later with none of the original crew to milk it now.
No. I mean, there's some screenshots out there, so you know everybody's coming back.
Yeah. You know, you got Jeremy, Stacy. It's all gonna be a good time. Apparently, so we got somebody saying, if Scott is with Mrs. Morosky, would you ship the desk in Mildred?
That's a scandal. Right there, and I don't want to tarnish my good name by endorsing such adulterous behavior. by two inanimate objects.
That is very wise. This is wisdom from Mr. Jacob. Wise words with Mr. Jacob. That's gonna be the screenshot
God.
for the interview. You know it when I make the thumbnail.
Oh, good. What, this?
Yes.
Great.
All right.
I'll give you more.
Somebody asking, why is there so much dating with inanimate things in Milo? You know, they say you write from the heart.
Yeah, you write from the heart, and I think you'll have to direct direct your questions to whatever psychiatric help the writers are getting. If they might be able to help you with that.
All right, let's see. We got somebody saying Bradley and Carla is the OTP.
Mm-hmm. Thoughts on Cabin Puss? I have all thoughts on Cabin Puss. I have every single one about Cabin Puss. There's no thought that I don't have about Cabin Puss.
When you first learned about Cabin Puss, what was the reaction? Was it that's normal weird, or was it like, did it stand out?
It was something along the lines of like, okay.
Swampy needed another character, and they didn't have another voice actor. It's like, what can we do?
I want to see what here.
Oh yeah, I'm a little behind.
Do you think that if Milo? Yeah. Chop away at my heart. Thoughts on thoughts on Cabin Puss. Cabin Puss. That's the one that it's the one that really resonates with me.
How does it feel to work with Weird Al? Have you actually gotten to meet Al with the show, or no?
Unfortunately, I've not been able to work with Weird Al. I have heard though great things about him. And being able to say that I have sung, that I sang lead on a song that Weird Al sang background on, that's fun to say.
Yeah, Weird Al sang background for my song.
Yeah. I've sang background for his songs too. Like he is that is a very fun thing that I get to say, and I would love to eventually meet him one day because he sounds like a very, very wonderful guy. Absolutely.
Let's see. Marshmallow doesn't rhyme with buffalo. Yes, that was a Milo joke.
Says you.
Let's see. Somebody really likes I'm Taking a Stroll, Dance Baby.
I like those songs too.
Being critical of yourself, what is the worst song that you sang on either Phineas or Milo? Without criticizing the songwriters.
Wow, that's a good one. There's a song that's coming to memory right now that is actually, it's not a Phineas and Ferb or a Milo song. It's a Lion Guard song that the reason that I think I sang it while I was sick.
Ooh.
And I feel like and they used the take they didn't bring me back. They used that take, and like I'm sure it sounds fine. But I know that day I was beating my head against a wall because I was afraid that I wasn't going to hit certain notes.
You could have done
and that.
better.
I mean, that happens too. I mean, like I can guarantee you that's happened on a Milo or a Phineas song that I've pushed through some nice throat coat or lemon and honey in order to get that.
But when they're done with the post process, it's so hard to tell. But
it's a beautiful program called Melodyne. It's a tuning program. It's very helpful.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm catching up thoughts on Cabin Puss. Which is better, Aaron? Cabin Puss or Dakota Puss?
Wow. The discourse right now is very intense by your fans. I love it. I love this. This is fantastic. Somebody draw. I'm sure somebody on here draws things. Draw a Dakota Puss.
I've never seen a Dakota Puss. That I think you've just probably inspired fan art tonight. Stay tuned to Twitter.
Please, no, I'm serious. Somebody draw a Dakota Puss. We'll do a side by side, and then I will make an informed decision.
We'll take the poll. Let's see. Do you have a favorite show in general? I guess outside of Phineas or Milo. Maybe favorite animated series, favorite live action.
I love More Than Life Itself, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. on
Oh,
Amazon.
I've heard such good things about that.
It's such a brilliant show. Favorite animated show? I just finished watching season 7 of the Clone Wars on Disney Plus.
So good. D. Bradley Baker,
That was
man.
pretty good. I was a late incomer. I mean I'm a Star Wars nut, but mainly just like the films. I never really was able to get into the shows. But then this next season, this final season came out, and so I watched like there are like 20 essential episodes. I'm such a fake fan. I watched like the 20 essential episodes leading up to season 7 that Disney Plus said, "Oh, watch these ones and you'll get what happens in season 7." I will say there are some moments. The last 4 episodes of that season are some of the best animation, some of the best animated TV that I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's
best
incredible.
Writing, best like framing of cinematography, best lighting, best action. It blew me away.
It's basically a movie. Like when it comes down to the nuts and bolts of it, it's pretty insane.
Yeah.
Favorite Phineas and Ferb reference on Milo Murphy's Law?
When the roller coaster falls into Melissa's backyard.
That one's pretty good.
That's that sort of back alley like world building that makes me very, very happy as a writer.
The connections, then tying it all together. Do you in the scripts that you've written, do you kind of ever pull characters from one script and throw them into another and make your own little universe, or you kind of treat them separately?
I did that with Aliens once. I had a string of movies that I worked on. I did music for a movie called Stevie's Aliens that was made by a buddy of mine named Austin Harris, who you should all go watch this movie. It's called Stevie's Aliens. It's on YouTube. It's a very good movie, and I did the music for it. But the aliens in that, and then I wrote a script with aliens after I'd made that movie, and in my head they were the same aliens. And then there was another movie that I did a while ago that I kind of like redacted and made them all kind of the same aliens basically, because they all kind of acted the same way. So I was like, oh, it's the same ones,
same aliens.
And then there was one time that I wrote a movie with a buddy of mine named Ryan, who's like, he's my best friend, and we've written things together forever. And we wrote these 2 characters that the 2 of us played once in a short film, and we'd always imagine that anything that the 2 of us wrote, we would pop in and and make surprise cameos at the different
kind of like Dan and
like,
Swampy in every scene of Milo.
Yeah, exactly. They're like 2 hapless burglars that are really, really dumb, that would just pop up in different places doing like odd jobs or something like that. But it's basically just the 2 of us.
That's so cool. Yeah, keeping it all connected. So let's see, Phineas and Ferb Star Wars. Did you sing anything for the Star Wars?
No, but some of the best songs are in that episode, and I wish I did.
Yeah, because I know they got In the Empire. Tatooine is an absolute jam.
They're all bops, man. They're all
yeah.
That whole soundtrack is amazing. Here on Tatooine is amazing. I think I listen to In the Empire regularly, and I think the tune that Olivia sings at the end.
Oh yeah, Rebel Let's Go.
Rebel Let's Go is a great. That whole soundtrack is fantastic. I wish I had done that. Of all of the crossover specials, the only one that I did was the Marvel episode. I did there's a Surf and Asteroid song. I think is in the beginning of that.
That's hilarious because when they aired the episode, the vocal track wasn't playing the first time. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, I do.
Oh, you do?
I do remember that.
You watched that?
I remember that.
Oh no! That must have felt so terrible.
I remember that. Well, because I know how animation works, I'm like, oh, they just decided to turn it into a piece of underscore. Like that kind of stuff happens all the time. So I was like, it's whatever, it's fine. But then I realized it was a mistake, and I was like, oh, for some reason that made me angry.
It's like I was opening up the Marvel crossover that millions of people across the world were watching, and I didn't put it in. I can imagine that. You're entitled to that amount of satisfaction with the song.
I've let it go. I've let my resentment go.
there's no hard feelings between the editing team and Disney for and watch that that's probably the version that they put on Disney Plus.
Yeah, God, that makes sense. Yeah,
given that everything's out of order. Let's say we got somebody saying, in comparison to the great Aaron Jacob, Weird Al is nothing but a background singer.
Oh my God! Please don't. Come on now. Let's not do this, guys. Please.
Uh,
Weird Al is an American treasure. Let's not do this to this sweet man.
I know you don't watch a lot of YouTube. Have you ever seen Schaeferilla's productions?
No. What is it?
He's just a guy who does YouTube, but somebody's saying you look like him with glasses. So maybe I'll send you a picture of what Schaeferilla's looks like. So you can see your...
Please, so I can if it's one of those clones that got out, I can try to make sure that make sure they don't get out anymore.
Uh-oh.
Get rid of them.
Is there? I'm getting some people saying there's a problem with the stream.
No. Maybe it's back from when I was back and forthing.
That could be it, because we could just be seeing that late. I mean, right now it looks like the stream is pretty smooth based on what I can see.
This damn technology.
Okay, I think it's back. Who is your least favorite Milo Murphy's Law character? Is there one that comes on screen and you're just like, Lord, help me get through editing this episode?
No, I like them all. And I don't mean to be like that guy. I like them all.
Yeah.
I like them all. I'm sorry.
That's
I love
right.
them all.
Yeah.
They're all great characters. They're all very funny.
Okay, so Bradley or Elliot? Oh no, I spilled my marbles all over the ground. Stop, citizen. You're in danger.
Elliot has a great song in A World Without Milo that I love. So I'm gonna say Elliot on that one, just because I think there's a depth to him that I think we just scratched the surface on in the show. Bradley I love obviously because it's Vincent, but I like Elliot.
There you go. Yeah, Elliot, he had two songs. He had The Safety Czar, and then he had The World Without Milo. But I think both of those were really well done. I like the swing jazz feel of The Safety Czar, though, I think. When I did my...
Any
any
Broadway show tune that Dan and Swampy write, I'm there for, honestly.
Definitely. And that's Sithinator, too.
Yeah. Sithinator.
From Naboo to Tatooine. He now will say, I'm blown away, much like Alderaan.
That gag when he has a timeshare on Alderaan, and then all of a sudden the value starts to drop. That's a good one that flies over so many people's heads. I belly laugh. I think it's hilarious.
There's so many jokes in the Star Wars special that there's Phineas jokes, there's Star Wars jokes, there's like there's no limit. Like if you've seen all of Phineas and all of Star Wars, you'll fully enjoy that. But like
there are two instances of Star Wars spin-off television writing that I think is the two best examples of inserting a story that we haven't seen before into a story that we are already familiar with, and that's the Clone Wars season 7 and the Phineas and Ferb episode of Star Wars, or the Star Wars episode of Phineas and Ferb.
Absolutely. Period. That's the way to do it. You figure out, what parts of the story haven't been told and what things can be caused. I mean, a little bit of it was kind of disappointing because Rogue One came out and they explained away some of the things that the Phineas special explained, but it still works.
The Phineas and Ferb episode is canon. You can come at me on Twitter.
That's it.
You think otherwise.
The episode itself says it's not canon, but Aaron Daniel Jacob says it's canon, so it's canon.
You can come at me. I will fight you tooth and nail. I promise you.
We're about to see some Twitter fights break out. Yeah, lots of people asking if Milo Murphy would ever get a movie. Have you heard any talk of a Milo movie?
I have not heard it with my ears, so I can't speak to it. But I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be really fun. Listen. Any opportunity to see those characters again, I'm gonna be down for. I really enjoy those characters. I think that there are more stories, in my opinion. Again, I'm not the writers, but I think that you could definitely tell a lot more stories with those characters, and I'd love to see it.
Absolutely.
I would be outside of working on the show. If I weren't working on the show, I'd be there for it.
Okay, Bob's got a lot of questions coming in here. This is great. If you were given the chance to write a Milo episode, what would your pitch be? Have you thought about that, or because in theory, if you're good friends with Dan Swampy, the writers' room probably isn't more than a knock or a call away.
I had an idea once. It didn't work. It doesn't work because it like
It's the
I had this
the way
idea
the
of Milo
can's
taking.
shaped is not doesn't fit with it
Yeah.
now.
Well, I had an idea for an episode where I thought it would be fun to see Milo taking a driving test.
Oh, the driver's
Um,
license test. Because I know there's a joke with his mom. And she's like, 1 more year till the driver's license, or
yeah.
however it
The
goes.
reason is because I think the reason that I don't think it worked is because he's supposed to be 14 or something in the show, 13 or 14 or something like that,
Yeah.
and like to show a 13 or 14-year-old behind a wheel, maybe not the best thing to do on Disney, but the idea was I think the idea that I had was like the Murphys always like teach the Murphy men always are taught driving over the course of like several years because that's how long it takes for something to go right. And then it would be I think it was going to be like an episode about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking you could bring back the, like, since Doof is living with them, it's time for Milo to get his driver's license. So Doof is like, "Oh, let me take you to the Doofenshmirtz Department of Motor Vehicles." and
enter another great song.
Enter the driving
a reprise of a very great song.
The Milo driving test waltz. Did you ever get to see working on the music? Did you ever get to see Baby Puss actually animated?
What do you mean? Like
I know at the end of season 2 they cut Baby Puss. There was Puss, but then he had laid an egg, and then there was Baby Puss. Was he cut before you got Fear and Loathing, or?
Oh no! Oh my God! Yes. Wait. No, I don't think I ever got to see Baby Puss.
Oh,
I don't think so. As elusive as Baby Yoda, I would say even.
Because we know the animation was finished because Dan shared it on Twitter, and we're all just like, "What was the one-liner? What was the?"
I would very much wish to have seen that. I don't think I ever saw that one. No.
All right, we'll have to keep searching for that one. Oh wow, we got lots more. Did you ever work on anything for the Phineas and Ferb video games? And if not, did you ever play them?
Unfortunately, no. And no, actually, I know a lot of people that played them, and they said they were very, very fun. I did not do anything for those video games. Let's all try to make a PS4 remaster, like they're doing with like Tony Hawk Pro Skater there, like they're doing again, and maybe I'll jump in on that.
Tweet at Disney, please remaster the Milo Murphy's Law. Across the Second Dimension, I think, was the big game that was for the consoles. They did one off where they took the scene where they're hopping through dimensions and they made it into a game. I thought that was a pretty cool framing device. It's like, the scene where it's brand new reality, which I think Danny sung Brand New Reality.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. But yeah,
that's always fun.
They're hopping through dimensions, and so that's the game, is you have to beat each dimension to get to the end of that scene. So it's pretty cool. Roller Coaster the Musical. Any thoughts on that specific episode?
I want to see more episodes from Phineas retroactively turned into musicals. That's my thought. I think it's great.
Yeah, especially episodes that didn't have songs. Okay, somebody says their dad would like to know your opinions on Squirrels in My Pants. First time you heard it, thoughts on it, its relevance now? Because like every video now has comments like, "I can't believe Candace was singing Squirrels in My Pants."
Squirrels in My Pants is a work of art. I think everybody should have reverence for this song that I think should be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And it makes me laugh very, very hard.
Let's see. Kind of going through. Wow, the chat is going fast. Are you getting any? Can you see anything? Maybe look through it. I don't know.
Have you played the games on played on the Disney website? I used to play. There was a game way back in the day, but it was the Lilo and Stitch character. It was one of the experiments, and there were sandwich things that were being shot into the air, and you had to like catch all the condiments on the sandwich. I played that game a lot, and I was also very, very, very active on Club Penguin when it was out.
I grew up with Webkins. That was my thing. Like the Webkins games, the arcade. the
Mhm.
gem store. But I saw a lot of friends had Club Penguin, so that was I feel like that was like 2 years apart. Like yeah, the Club
Yeah,
Penguin era,
that, and
and
then
then
there was a game. There was a game that was around for a very very long time that I loved. Sandwich Stacker. Someone found it. Yeah, that was Sandwich Stacker. That's the one that I played. There was a game called VMK that was like a virtual
Virtual
magic.
Magic Kingdom. Yes. Did you ever read the Kingdom Keepers books by Ridley Pearson,
Did.
where he used
I
that
did
as the
read them.
plot device? That
I
was
did, and
those are great.
I missed that game so much.
Did you hear that he recently remastered the first 3 books in the series to be updated for today?
I did, and I was thinking about, because I have very fond memories of reading those books, so I was thinking maybe I'd pick up the new version of them again, because they say he like took things that don't exist anymore and like rewrote some scenes, and I think that's great.
Yeah, it sounds like really interesting. I need to pick up the audiobook because that's really how I listen nowadays. Because like finding time to read is tough.
There's a book that there's a book called Artemis that I read over Audible. I love audiobooks. I would love to get more into
We're
it.
trying to get sponsored by Audible here at Phineas Flynn's Law. So this.
Yeah, I know. So anybody who is a spokesperson for Audible, please, we're delivering delicious free advertising for you. So the least you can do is sponsor us.
Absolutely. Somebody saying, "What if Phineas and Ferb teach Milo to drive?" That'd be funny.
That's actually great. I like that.
What about a Milo Star Wars, doing Milo Murphy's Law as The Empire Strikes Back?
I think that would be a great idea, honestly, and I think that like a crossover for Return of the Jedi, I think would be the way to go. If I had my way.
Was "Gotta Get Gone" your song?
Gotta Get Gone. I don't remember that one.
Gotta Get Gone. Did you sang the what's it called? Looking High and Low for Milo, where it's like, somebody's gotta go find Milo. That's
actually my dad, I think.
Oh, that was Danny who did the bear song.
I think that one again. Wiki man.
It's like you sung Scratch, and then your dad sung the final.
That's happened before, where it's vice versa, where I've sung Scratch for him and he's sung Scratch for me, and there are some times where I can't tell the difference, and it reminds me of my mortality a little bit, but it's fine. We don't have to talk about that.
Who sung the song? We'll never know. It's sometimes hard for us to tell because they never put at the early days of Phineas, they would actually credit like who wrote the song, who sung the song, that sort of thing. But the way TV animation has changed, the original songs in things like Tangled that are, I think, bigger budget, they get like Alan Menken. It's like, we're going to credit Alan Menken with the song. But Milo, it's just like all music by Danny Jacob. That's the only credit for everything.
The whole dang thing. He gets his own card.
That's right.
He's very happy about it.
Oh, I'd imagine so. That's a big thing. Let's see. Milo, have you played we didn't answer that one. What's your favorite Across the Second Dimension song?
I gotta pull up that. Hold on, I gotta pull up the album now on Spotify.
I'm thinking Everything's Better with Perry, Mysterious Force.
That one. No, wait, no, you got it. That's it. Everything's Better with Perry. No, serious. That is one that I pop on just in the car regularly because I think it's fantastic.
And favorite, I think I saw this earlier, but favorite Love Handle song from either Milo or Phineas. I know mine is obscure because mine is, it's a giant 3D scrapbook and it's all about you and it's all about you. That's my favorite Love Handle song, but everyone's always like, it's Ain't Got Rhythm, or
I'm a big Snuck Your Way into Your Heart.
Oh yeah,
fan. I'm a big, and it's I know it's such a basic song to like, but it's just, it reminds me I love like 80s rock bands. I love like Bon Jovi and Whitesnake and all those folks. So like I that kind of stuff I love.
And that's a song like when you're really into it, you can like feel that song. Like it's not just a TV song. It's not just a Phineas and Ferb song. Like that's one that you can you can groove. Like there's certain Phineas and Ferb songs that are great, but you're like, when you're listening to it, it's like, this is a Phineas and Ferb song. Like you said, it's like there's more words coming out than you could possibly process.
Right.
But like Snuck Your Way Right Into My Heart is like a very, I don't know, I guess real is they're all real songs, but like it's a real
like song. A ninja of love.
You came down from above. It was totally off key, but I had to finish it.
So was mine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Let's see. Aaron Jacobs demands the whole population of North America have squirrels shoved into their trousers.
Sorry, is that your byline for the?
Oh my gosh.
Man, I gotta get a publicist for these things. Good God.
People are putting words into your mouth in the comment section. Is the joke at the end of "We're going to the zoo"? Oh, that was a good reference to "Squirrels in My Pants" at the end of "We're going to the zoo." Mm-hmm. He's singing "We're going to the zoo," and the squirrels jump into his pants.
Yes.
And he's like, "Squirrels in my pants." Yeah. Somebody wants you to sing "Busted," but you didn't sing "Busted." That was Ashley Tisdale and Olivia Olson. I still think it's so funny how Olivia Olson sings for their mom. Just any time where she needs to have a song, it's just Olivia Olson comes in and does it. Do you know who sings for Stacy? Because Stacy sings a couple times, but I know Kelly Who doesn't sing. She's like one of the few actors who doesn't do her character singing.
I don't know. Actually, I actually didn't know that she didn't sing for herself. Somebody find that out.
Yeah, because I know she like in Meatloaf, she gets like a really nice harmony with Candace and whoever plays the Paisley Sideburn brothers. Who it's a band whose name I'm just blanking.
I didn't know that. Ground beef and breadcrumbs, some onions and an egg. Some onions and an egg. That might actually be Swampy.
Really?
Sometimes Swampy jumps and sings things. I don't know. Again, don't quote me. I'm such a bad.
Dan and Swampy, like they sing a lot of their own songs too. Like I know there's you probably remember Floor After Floor because that was the one they actually did the documentary, like a mini doc for when they were writing it. Is like stacking steel, laying bricks, pounding nails, and moving up quick. 2x4s and RSJs, and they're like building the building as it goes. And that's Swampy's kind of like singing this like very deep voice.
Oh, they're saying Laura. They sang Laura sang for Stacy. Oh, that makes sense.
Ah, okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Let's see. If there was another Phineas and Ferb crossover, what would you want to see it cross over with?
I mean, I really want a second Star Wars crossover.
Yeah.
But if that weren't on the table,
Ed, and Eddie.
I just want them to reboot Ed, and Eddie. Just bad, just real bad. I don't know. Shoot, I want to say like if the rights weren't an issue, I'd want to say like DC. I'd say like
like
DC
other DC superheroes. Yeah, I feel like it could get very Scooby-Doo very fast.
Yeah, or Scooby-Doo. That'd be a good one too, actually.
Dude,
I think Scooby-Doo crossover
Phineas and Ferb meet
fantastic.
Scooby-Doo. That would be really fresh. Yeah. Let's see. It's like Weird Al sung 2 Star Wars songs, so it would make sense if Milo did a Star Wars crossover.
It practically writes itself.
Okay, so the song that they were asking about is like, we gotta get gone, baby. Gotta get gone. Get gone. Gotta get gone. I don't know if you sung it.
Gotta get gone. Getting gone. Getting.
Oh, so are you remembering, or is this just ad?
No, this is me having a stroke. I don't know. This is me realizing that I skipped lunch and it coming back to haunt me.
I feel that. Okay, Robot Riot. Do you remember Robot Riot?
I do remember Robot Riot.
This is a Robot Riot. Good Love Handle song.
It's a good one.
Do you have a favorite other Disney TVA show outside of Lion Guard or Phineas or Milo? Have you seen like Owl House, Amphibia, Tangled the series, Big Hero 6 the series, or nah?
I watched just because my dad worked on Tangled. I've watched a couple of different episodes of Tangled, and I actually really like that show. I think that's a really well done show.
The animation style is very cinematic, which I think is that's that one's special quality. Like it just feels like a movie.
Yeah, that I really like that show. I think that's fantastic. Other DTVA shows. I don't have time to watch a lot of TV. That's the problem.
Yeah, because you're constantly working and getting stuff done.
Yeah, I know. It's that kind of thing where like as like a writer, like it's, I don't read as much as I should because I spend a lot of time writing things. The last thing I want to do is to like look at more words.
Yeah. Well, you gotta focus on like the next project, you know.
Right.
So you're never.
That being said, I should read more. It's a good, healthy thing to do. I should read more things.
Yeah. All right. I think let's take a last look here. But I think that's about all. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. It has been a blast. I've really enjoyed this.
Of course. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for reaching out. I was very flattered that you reached out to me. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Laura Dixonson and Stacy singing.
Gravity Falls. I saw one episode of Gravity Falls. I wish I had seen more though, because that was a great great show.
As far as a writing, that's like a writing master class right there. The way Alex Hirsch.
I remember there's some episodes. The one episode that I saw was where like one character like almost gets hit by something and he goes like, "Wow, we could have almost died." Whoa. Like he has like a moment of realizing like where it sinks in that he almost just died and then they move on. But like I was very pleased with that kind of humor.
Oh yeah, and they have a really strong villain in Bill Cipher. It's like if you want to know how to write like an overpowered villain, Bill Cipher is great character study. I know you're not on YouTube a whole lot, you said, but there's like lots of great video essays on writing. That's where, for my writing inspiration, like film school's a thing, but like seeing people talk about what other people have done on YouTube is far more compelling for me anyways.
That's the stuff that I watch on YouTube. Is like the only thing that I do is like video essays about like movies.
Yeah,
like
Nerd Writer, Lessons from the Screenplay. There's all sorts of
all
many good channels. Yeah, that's.
Fantastic. I tweeted those Lessons from a Screenplay guys once a question, and they tweeted back, and I was very very celebrity struck.
That's crazy. The feeling that you could be celebrity struck, because like I'm celebrity struck right now.
I'm celebrity struck. I like went into a puddle when I met Hans Zimmer. Like that's like I have a lot of my celebrity strikes are always like the weirdest, are like the most obvious. Like I get really like flabbergasted in front of specifically composers. I don't really have that way with like celebrities. If I see somebody, because I live in Los Angeles, sometimes I'll see somebody walking down the street or at a coffee shop. I'll be like, oh, it's what's his face. When it's composers, it's I don't know. I turn into a whole
totally different story.
Yeah.
Totally off topic, but have you ever thought about doing any composing for theme park attractions? Given how much you love like Disneyland,
that would be a dream come true. Actually,
that would be a dream.
Actually, one of my dreams is to write the music for a fireworks show.
Oh man, the song "Happily Ever After" that they use at the Magic Kingdom now, that's crazy. Have you heard the score for Flight of Passage? Which is like it's like rearranged James Horner, but it's like
it's good. It's really good. My favorite piece of theme park music, though, is definitely "Soarin' Over California." Wait, is that?
Oh my gosh, Jerry Goldsmith.
That's my favorite piece of theme park music, and then the fireworks show that made me want to write music for fireworks was Wishes. It was they originally did it in the 50th anniversary, which is when I was a kid. I went for the 50th anniversary. I saw that fireworks show, and I was brought to tears. And then the new version of Fantasmic that came out, with the way that they rearranged all the music for the California version of Fantasmic, blew me away exceptionally. I would love to do that.
I've heard fantastic things about Wishes. I need to go back and just listen to it because you're never going to get the visual impact that it has. But no, I think what they did with Happily Ever After, I think, is really solid.
I have a friend who works who unfortunately didn't even get a chance to do it, but works the parade for that new parade that's at Disneyland right now.
Oh, the Paint the Night, maybe.
No, but that's a great parade. I love that parade. It's whatever the new one is. And she didn't get a chance.
Magic Happens.
Magic Happens. She said it was the best thing that Disney's ever done. I was very excited to watch it. Obviously, cannot do that now.
The original Soarin' arrangement, though, that is I listen to Soarin' Over the World. It just doesn't hit the same. Beats.
Look, I think it is. I don't want to dock the person that whoever did Soarin' Over the World.
No, because that was you had to try really hard to.
Yeah, well, and it's Jerry Goldsmith. I mean, he is he's up there with Williams. Like he's such a master at what he does. the fact that Soaring Over the World got close is a miracle, and I commend that composer greatly for doing what they did.
I think the best thing about Soaring Over the World is that when you go to the different countries, the score changes to the influence of that music, which is something that the original couldn't do because you weren't going to different countries.
Exactly, and I think that's great. And I love that about Soaring Over the World. But Jerry's theme, the theme that he created, the arrangement of that. If you know anything about music, you just the arrangement of that, the orchestration of it is akin to some like films that he's done. It's just fantastic.
So this is another long rumored thing. Apparently, there was a time when Imagineering was working on a actual Phineas and Ferb attraction. Have you heard anything about it? It got tabled when Disney decided to end the series because they already had World Showcase Adventure. Which, did you sing anything for World Showcase Adventure? Or
no, but I did it. I went and I did the Perry the Platypus like thing. It was very fun.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
But no, I didn't do anything for World Showcase. I've only been to Disney World a couple of times, and I want to go back very, very badly. But I've not heard about a Disney Phineas and Ferb attraction, but I want it. I want to have it. I want to do it.
I just want to see the Phineas and Ferb animatronics. I want to see Imagineering tackle it.
I want to see Phineas and Ferb on the at the end of Fantasmic, man.
Or in the Happily Ever After. Dreamers. Like, they deserve to be there. And like you said, it's surreal to hear your music in the parks, too. It'd be crazy if they got you to sing in a song for, like... Because I've thought for a long time about, like, if Dan Swampy did a theme park attraction, you know there would be a big musical number within the ride. And you know there'd probably be, like, a pre-show song.
Oh, yeah.
And...
that's... to sing something for a theme park be a dream... Now that I can like process it a little bit more, that I'm not like a child.
It's like, yes, I'm an adult. The work world is open.
Exactly. If I can actually process what's happening, I'd love to sing a song for a theme park again. And obviously in the future, I'd love to write the score for a fireworks show. I think that would be great.
Absolutely. All right. So I think, yeah, that's about it. So we're going to play, I don't know if you've heard of this. It's called Kahoot. It's basically a trivia game that I can host, and then everybody kind of plays along from home using their phones for trivia. You're welcome to join us. If not, if you got places to be, totally understand. But I think we're going to probably move on to that here.
Okay.
So yeah.
I wasn't kidding when I said I skipped lunch.
So absolutely.
I might have to.
No, go get something to eat.
But thank you. But I really appreciate it. This was I really enjoyed talking with you. I enjoyed answering the questions. I enjoyed talking to you. I've known of you on Twitter for many a year, so it was really lovely to put a face to that.
Absolutely, and it was so great to meet you too. Thank you again, just so much for joining.
Awesome. All right, take care, guys. All right.
All right. Adios.
Adios. Bye.
All right. Thank you again, Aaron, for joining us. That was absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to get us onto the Kahoot setup. Yes. Pulling up the chat. Give me a second, guys. Sorry, I just gotta kind of transition out of everything that's happening over here. Again, apologies. I'm watching the chat for you guys, don't worry. We got lots of competition in the chat. People claiming. So the nice thing is that we are going to That's alright. I just gotta make sure that the quiz is edited right. My bad. I should have done this before the live stream began. Just give me a second, guys. Chop, 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 chop away at my heart. I can feel it falling. And I will never part. I know you've been there from the start. Baby, chop, 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 chop away at my heart. Who else likes all those songs by Aaron Daniel Jacob? They're amazing. You're gonna get stuck in your head all day. if you can tell who sung it. Dance baby, hands in the air, go down to the store, buy a wicker chair. That's a tough one to sing in key, particularly. All right. I fixed all the questions. Play it now. Host. Alrighty. Let's go over to my dashboard. And Zoom setup right here. Classic. All right. Pulling up the chat again. Welcome to Kahoot. 1050180 is the code if you're looking to join us right now. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like my singing voice, Grace. I really appreciate that. And yeah, all y'all talking about, oh, you're singing along with me to Chop Chop Chop. Hi, RootTube Vlogs. Welcome. So happy that you're here. Dance Baby is very mesmerizing. All right. We have everybody here. And people are coming in. Welcome. You know, y'all love it. There we go. Bob, you've done this 100 times. Why are you just downloading the app? This should be second nature to you. That's right. I guess you could have just done it from from like the Kahoot.it. Wow, we got a lot of players coming in tonight. I haven't been monitoring them nicknames. I hope these are all appropriate. Okay. Sam, you really think you're gonna win? I'd be careful. I would be careful if I were you. Quick question. What is this Kahoot about? This Kahoot is about Milo and Phineas, and that's all I'm going to say. There are some old viewers who may find a few things a little familiar. That's also all I'm going to say. Yeah, so if the lighting changes, it's just because of the color of the thing. All right, we got... Let's see how... I'm just looking at how many people are watching the stream, so I kind of get a sense of how many Kahoot players we have. All right. We got 47 people watching. We got 33 players. Perry's not getting a girlfriend, but that is a pretty clever nickname. Dandy Deer 29, Isabella, Bob, Sam K, Bob the Random Guy. So we got Bob and Bob the Random Guy. So that's nice. Bob, if you're trying to play twice to double your score or to have two chances at winning, I admire your skill. Got Graceland just came in, Chase Elliott, Pablo Potato, Milo Alyssa, Willie, Madison Bean, Lizard of Oz, Chop Chop Away, Cookie Jar 7, KMH Disney. Wow, we got a lot of players tonight. Lemon 27, Disco Spider, Graceland Newsome. Wow. All right. Consider this your 10-second warning. We're going to sing I'm Taking a Stroll. One bar of it. I'm taking a stroll in the moonlight, taking a stroll, just taking a stroll. Feeling just right when I'm in the moonlight, taking a stroll. It's not a crime to pass the time with cadence and an occasional rhyme. Put one foot in front of the other, I'm taking a stroll. That's it. All right. Get started, we shall. Milo Murphy's Law, Quiz 1, Phineas Flynn's Law. At what year was the first episode of Milo Murphy's Law released? Was it 2015, 2016, 2014, or 2017? That is the question, isn't it? Now, you have to wait, because what's going to happen is the answers are going to appear on your phone. And you're not actually going to see the question until about 30 minutes into the answers having appeared on your phone because of the delay of the live stream. So, I'm sorry, I should have explained that before we started. But, yeah, that's kind of how the game works. So, you wait, then once you see the question, it'll all come up. Bob, everyone here is actually you. Yeah. Yes, they are. All right. So each question has 60 seconds total, but for you, it's only going to be about 30 seconds because of the delay. And the big reason for the delay is that I need to make sure that everybody has time depending on how well your Wi-Fi connection is. All right. 25 people said 2016. Yep, that's it. 2016. First episode, Going the Extra Mile, was dropped on the Disney Channel YouTube. How are we looking? All right. First game. I keep having to pull myself up. I need to fix that. All right. Waniac is 943, first place. Yapple in second. Dance in the Rain is third. The Lemon 27 is fourth, and Dwampy Fan in fifth. This is a good starting spot because I can almost guarantee you this is not going to stay the same for the next round. Here we go. What was Milo's original name? Milo, duh. Mikey, Mickey, or Miley? Yeah. So, yeah, Madison, the stream is behind, but that's okay because I give you 60 seconds, but the stream is only 30 seconds behind, according to my measurement of it. All right, 22 seconds. What was Milo's original name? I'm gonna go ahead and throw. Oh, I guess that happened. All right, everybody answered. Mikey. That's it. Mikey was his original name. Yeah. So if everybody answers before time is up, it'll automatically go to the final thing. Just before I move on, I'm gonna throw the pin in the chat. So if anybody wants to join late, you can. All right. Oh, and what did I say? Dance in the Rain is in first place with Waniac in second, Lemon 27 in third, Dioji, welcome to the board, and Jafar, welcome to the board in fourth and fifth place. All right, next question. What episode does a Phineas and Ferb character appear? Is it The Substitute, A Christmas Carol, We're Going to the Zoo, or Fungus Among Us? This is the question. In which episode does a Phineas and Ferb character appear? Yeah, pressing too fast is pretty tough to deal with. Schedule and plan, but you gotta understand you're never really in control. Just gotta know to let it go and just roll with it. Just roll with it. Just roll with it. That's another great. I think Aaron sung that song. I don't think I talked to him about it, but I think he sung Just Roll with It. Yeah, because that was supposed to be like a Just Getting Started song. Oh, I can pin a chat comment. It's not giving me that option. Okay. So yes, There's a Phineas and Ferb character in all of them, so everybody got it right. We're going to the zoo. Perry appears. Substitute. Klumpaloon appears. A Christmas Carol, Santa appears, and in Fungus Among Us, Doofenshmirtz appears. So there's a Phineas and Ferb character in every episode. What do we got here? Oh, that one was basically just on speed. Lemon 27 and Pablo the Potato moved up. Red Roop Tube climbed up 7 places, so congratulations. All right. We are back to the quiz. Which of these is not a Milo Murphy's Law character? Is it Vinny, Dakota, Veronica, Bernie, or Erica? This is one of those where you gotta know those deep cut side characters. If you don't know the deep cut side characters, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be really tough. Newt, I'm so glad you're having fun. I really appreciate that. I do these just so that everybody can have fun. So that's very good. All right, what Milo song should I sing next? Or a Phineas and Ferb song. Summer is done, and we've had our fun, but this isn't the end of our story. Bye, Black Wolves. Thank you for joining. It's not red. Good deduction. That's right, Bernie. Bernie is not a Milo Murphy's Law character. If you want to know who Erica is, check the wiki, as we've been saying all night. The wiki knows all. All right. How did this change the rankings? Top 2 stayed the same. Wizard of Oz be moving up, and oh, this one broke it. A lot of people did not know the answer to that question. Bob. Sorry, that was just funny. All right. Back to the quiz. Which is not in-universe fiction? Is it Dr. Zone, Lardy Boy, Iron Man, or Ducky Momo? Is it Dr. Zone, Lardy Boy, Iron Man, or Ducky Momo? Which is not in-universe fiction? Which of these is not a fictional show within the universe, but is in fact real? Welcome everyone to Lard World. Lard is slippery, greasy fun, rendered fat that comes from piggies. Welcome, welcome everyone. Lardy Boy is here to greet you. Hi, my name is Lardy Boy. If you play those lard-themed games, you're sure to win a lard-themed toy. I wonder if Aaron sung that one, too. That might have been Danny. I feel like that one was probably Danny, though. Okay, what? That's right. Iron Man is not fiction because Iron Man is real. Yep. How did this change up the rankings? Not at all. Top people stayed on top. That is pretty much it. All right, moving on. Which of these episodes ends with the end? ? Is it Missing Milo, The Undergrounders, Fungus Among Us, or The Substitute? Now, the end ? Was funny because it was used in Phineas and Ferb, but it was also used in Milo. And because it was supposed to be like inspired by Dr. Zone, because Dr. Zone, the episode that we saw, used the end ? in the episode itself. So, which episode had the end ? See if I can make it a little bit bigger. There we go. Substitute science teacher in space. Can I teach you anything in the brief interval where your lives overlap? How would you ever know? Science teacher. All right. So 15 people said Missing Milo. 11 said The Substitute. You're both right. It was no the end ? in the Undergrounders. And Fungus Among Us ended with to be continued. Let's see how this changes the polls. I like to say polls. It's really just results. It's just me. All right. Nothing changed, but Greg is the highest climber. So thanks, Greg. Yeah, I'll make it smaller. Who is Dr. Zone's creator? Is it this is ridiculous. Is it Professor Time, Orton Malson, Milo Murphy, or John Zone? Which one is it? Which is Dr. Zone's creator? Milo's soundtrack is severely underrated. It really is. And thank you guys all for staying so long and listening to the interview. I know there are parts of it that weren't specifically related to Milo, but I always think it's really interesting to learn about creators of film and animation, especially in the industry, because I know a lot of us enjoy it, and for me personally, it's an industry that I would love to join. So I think it's just really cool to get to know everybody within that industry. And so that's hopefully what I'll be able to do on Phineas Flynn's Law here more often, as I bring on creators, or not necessarily creators, but cast and crew of Milo, just to kind of talk about the show and what they do and how they contribute. So if you'd like to see more of that, let me know who you want me to try and get on the show, because that is absolutely possible for the future. I'm not gonna get Weird Al on the show, okay? It's not gonna happen unless like a miracle happens. Like, be reasonable. All right, who is Dr. Zone's creator? Orton Malson, easy peasy, basic Milo. Did that change? Pablo the Potato, just slipping in a little bit. Chase Elliott is back in the game with 3 in a row. All right, what is the most recent episode? Oh dang! I think I need to update this. What is the most recent episode of Milo Murphy's Law? I want to discard this question. You know what? Well, we'll skip this question. We're skipping it. Skipping that question. That's right. It was everything but Fungus Among Us. So we're skipping that. Next. All right. It could be, yes, it could be debated that Milo sort of created Dr. Zone. Tough Round Templars. Yeah, sorry, we had to skip that one because that was my fault. But hey, it's making the game a little interesting. You can't all keep your answer streaks. What is Neil's sister's name? Neil has a sister in Toboggan of Love, and she has a name. So what is Neil's sister's name? That is the question. And what is the answer? And the mic is right here, so for ASMR, it's like, what is the answer? What is the answer to the question? What is Neil's sister's name? Is it Izzy, Lizzie, Abigail, or Sarah? Toboggans are not where you typically look for romance, 'cause there's no way to steer, or you might hit a deer, or get snow in your pants. Oh, but it's thrilling to be in a moving death trap like this. You can see that when push comes to shove, this could be a toboggan of love. Lizzie! That's right. Neil's sister's name is... Hey, Lizzie! Hey, Neil, is that Sarah from the comic shop? Whoa, that one... Most of you got it right. But that's going to be tough. Let's go to the polls. Waniac and Pablo the Potato just kind of shifted places. RubeTube is the highest climber. Yeah. Oh, yes, she does share a voice with Mrs. Mercy. That is Pamela Adelon does play Neil's sister. And she probably would in the future if they brought her back. What is Dr. Zone's first name? Henry, Hankry, Hangry, or Humpty? Now, let's see. Yes, Miss from the comic shop. Get Dan Povenmire in the stream. Oh, man, I would freak out if I got Dan Povenmire in the stream. One can hope that one day we will get Dan Povenmire on Phineas Flynn's Law to answer all of your burning questions about canon and Milo and Phineas, and oh boy, we'd have a jolly good old time with that. We really would. Everybody, yeah, get Dan. Yeah, all right, we got 11 seconds. Time for danger, time for action, time for Dr. Zone. And Hankry. That's right, it is Dr. Hankry Zone. And everybody knew it was one of the first two. Thank goodness nobody picked Dr. Hangry Zone. Even though we do know the doof goes divergent. Bob, no. Chase Zone, no. That's mean. Okay. Pablo the Potato and Cookie Jar are now on the board. Or I think Pablo the Potato just went up. Cookie Jar, welcome to the board. Dance in the Rain is still in the lead. Sam K is the highest climber. Dance in the Rain. You should tell me who you are in the chat so that I can acknowledge you, because you are doing pretty great. Which of these songs is not a song heard in Milo Murphy's Law? Oh, this is good. This is relating to everything that we learned tonight. So, or get swampy, yeah. I'm imagining dangling up to McDonald's and ordering in Doof's voice. That's great. If I got Vincent on the stream, Aaron said he was pretty good friends with Vincent, so that is possible. No, I'm not getting a Weird Al on the stream. You guys know this. Which of these is not a song heard in Milo Murphy's Law? Chop Chop Away at My Heart. Yeah, definitely not heard in Milo Murphy's Law. Just Roll With It, Me, Myself, and I, or Squirrels in My Pants. Which one is it? Me, myself, and I don't see eye to eye. Me, myself, and I don't get along. That is right. It is Me, Myself, and I. That is the only one that is not heard, because Squirrels in My Pants is heard at the end of We're Going to the Zoo, like we talked about earlier in the stream. So if you were paying attention in the stream and the chat, you would know the answer to that one. Let's see how it changes things. Oh, the Lemon 27. You held on to second place for so long, so valiantly. Dancing in the Rain, congratulations. Glad to know that you're in the chat with us too. And good job keeping first place. Cookie Jar 7, Lemon 27, Pablo the Potato, and we are moving on. Cavendish and Dakota have not blown up Earth's second moon, created a leap year, saved a pistachio plant, or met Spider-Man. Which of these have they not done? They've done a lot of things. So which of these could they have not done? So. Yeah, I don't think I can pin a chat comment. I'm not big enough yet. Or I might have to enable Super Chat. Which I could enable Super Chat. If we did get Weird Al on, I would have Super Chat, because in order to sift through the questions y'all would have for him, I would need Super Chat. It'd be like, oh yes, $20. You can get your question answered by Weird Al. What can I say? I sold out. I sold out, if that would ever happen. Yeah, I met Spider-Man. Easy. That's probably not going to change the scoreboard too much. Oh, Cookie Jar 7 left. MML 20 Fan 23 is on the board. Dance in the Rain is in first place. Phineas is the highest climber. And so it continues. Which of these is not one of King Pistachion's, and keep in mind this word, direct sons? Which of these is not one of King Pistachion's direct sons? Is it Derek, Jerry, Sean, or Dennis? So, Rubes, you've watched some of my videos. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm glad you've watched some of my videos. Yeah, Black Wolves. Met Spider-Man, yes. Kissed, no. I think it's just Bob's goal, just to make me laugh in the chat section. And I feel like he derives great happiness from getting me to laugh at his absurd comments. And you know what? Just keep them coming, because I really enjoy it. Let's see. Well, they never met Spidey on screen. Can you imagine Cavendish and Dakota meeting Spider-Man? That'd be fun fan fiction. Which this is not one of King Pistachion's direct sons. That's right. Sean and Dennis were not King Pistachion's direct sons. Derek was obviously one of his direct sons. And Jerry was also one of his direct sons mentioned in Missing Milo. Darcy Clark, you watched all my vids? Yes. Game code. Somebody put the game code in the chat. What? We have somebody who wants to join in. Who is it? Von Nickel Productions. Welcome. All right, let's see how this changes the leaderboard. MML Fan 23 and Cookie Jar 7 are competing for 5th place. And they're just kind of going at it. And Dioge's back with an answer streak of 3. And Dance in the Rain still holding on to that top spot. Quiz time. Orton Malson's dad was a zoning commissioner, a famous writer, also Dakota's dad, or a bratwurst cart operator. So, or what was Orton Malson's dad's job? If you need a hint, I think he did this job in or we reveal that it was his dad's job in Fungus Among Us, and then it's repeated in the Phineas and Ferb effect. Let's see, is like, I'm gonna have a big hit show and a legion of super fans. I got an icon, I'll be an icon on the modern television. Sure, writing was my goal, but I'll be honest, I was making backup plans. But they say you write what you know. But all I knew was the bratwurst cart. And it sure is nice to know that everything will turn out fine. All right. That's right. His dad was a zoning commissioner, and most everybody got that. That's easy. Good stuff. How does this change the leaderboard? Not at all. Milo Lissa is the highest climber, really trying to bring that back, but you know, it's one of those things that it's really going to be tough to dethrone our current top 5. Which of these actors is not in Krill Hunter 14? Now, this is a deep dive. So if you remember the trailer at the beginning of, not Disaster of My Dreams, but, what is the name of the first Krill Hunter episode? Disaster of My Dreams / I'm blanking on the title of the episode. This is terrible. But, it's obviously also Dakota's dad. Oh, Newt, you're MML fan 23. Very nice. So it's Tobias Trollhammer, Sherman Desterwinkle, Gretchen Flamuken, or Edwin Van Heusen. This is one of these people. Sherman Desterwinkle, Gretchen Flamuken, Edwin Van Heusen, Tobias Trollhammer. And time is up. That's right, Edwin Van Heusen. Sherman Desterwinkle is the clown, and Gretchen Flamuken is the cliche love interest. And Tobias Trollhammer is obviously the star. How does this change things? Whoa, Cookie Jar got kicked out for Mega Milo fan, who has just jumped on the board, and 4 of you guys hit an answer streak of 7. That's great. Starstruck, thank you, Starstruck. Okay. Yes, thank you, Dancing in the Rain. This animal can talk in World Without Milo. So in the episode World Without Milo, which animal can talk? Is it a llama, a squirrel, Lardy Boy, or a horse? There's a horse in a bookcase. Well, there's a horse in a bookcase. There's a horse in a bookcase. Oh, there's a horse. Never ask me to do animal sounds. I'm not D. Bradley Baker. Like I could try to do like a hamster, but a hamster's just like squeak, squeak. This is why I don't do animal sounds, friends. But if you would like an animal sound ASMR video, it's not happening. Hey, let's not throw the answers in the chat. I'm seeing the answers in the chat. Adam, is it a chipmunk? We will never know. Well, there's a horse in a bookcase, and it is a squirrel. So yes, chipmunk was close, but yes, the squirrel can talk more without Milo. Let's see how y'all did. 27 of you said squirrel, and 4 of you said llama. Now, there is a llama alien that can talk, and if you want to learn more about that, go check out my interview with Brock Powell from two weeks ago-ish, and if you go in that, you can kind of see he talks a little bit about voicing that. I'm obviously going to plug my own content. Let's see how this affected the polls. Oh, Mega Milo fan is really trying to take it all the way to the top, and the Lemon 27 made it back onto the leaderboard. This is close. It looks like Dance in the Rain kind of has first place in the bag. But I think Lizard of Oz and Pablo the Potato could be taken down if somebody is up for the challenge. But we're only 4 questions away from the end. Now, this is a deep, deep cut. Who plays Cleopatra Zero in the Dr. Zone files? Now if you didn't stop the credits and read the names, this is so deep cut. I'm so sorry. This is one of those questions that we call the Shake It Up, because nobody probably knows this except for Bob, but Bob, I do not hate llamas. Llamas are just because I didn't put the llama song in my song countdown does not mean that I hate llamas. That is a major assumption that you made, and I don't appreciate the. I don't appreciate that you judge me for not liking llamas. I mean, I like llamas. Who plays Cleopatra Zero, folks? 4, 3, 2, 1. It is Watcha Willing Mask. Oh, only 9 people got it right. The hint, Cleopatra Zero probably wouldn't have been played by Bob Treeface or Pavin McPavin. But 9 of you said Pavin McPavin. So, it's... Let's see how this affects the polls. Oh, Mega Milo fam was doing so good. Got knocked out of the top spot. Pablo the Potato, the Lemon 27, and Diogi finally makes it onto the board. Diogi, what are you doing on the board? Go home. Go home, Diogi. Name an incident from Milo Murphy's Law. So you gotta name an incident. The Woodpecker incident, the Diogi incident, the Chakra incident, or the Llama incident. Which of these is an incident from Milo Murphy's Law? There might be more than one answer. So if the last question was an equalizer, this question is not an equalizer, but a gimme. Woodpecker. Bum, bum, bum. The end, question mark. Bob Treeface was once your name on Twitter. That's nice. Now it's been Bob the Random Guy for a while, though. Go home, Diogi. You're not supposed to be on Kahoot. It's like a pubescent Milo. It's like, you're not supposed to be on Kahoot, Diogi. Dan Swampy, hire me to voice pubescent Milo, please. All right. The Woodpecker incident. That's right. And the Llama incident. That's right. The Diogi incident was never a thing. And the board didn't change. Big surprise. Next question. 19. 2 questions away from the end. Zack is extremely afraid of what? Girls other than Melissa. Fish. Chinese finger traps. Or whales. This question comes from... the episode Murphy's Lard. And if you didn't know, a fun little trivia fact that you might see in the next Kahoot, wink, wink, hint, hint. Not saying that it's going to be in there, but it definitely will. Murphy's Lard was the episode out of which Zack's 2 younger siblings were cut. And in fact, after they were cut from Murphy's Lard, they were actually put in the archive, and Dan Swampy decided they weren't going to use them, even though their designs were completed. So Zack has 2 younger siblings, which are no longer in the show. That's right, Zack is afraid of fish. 29 people got that right. Easy, Kercheesy. Oh no, Pablo the Potato lost a spot to the Lemon 27, man. The Lemon 27 coming in clutch here in the last question. Which character does not appear in the opening... Oh no, that's not it. Which character does not appear in the opening title sequence? Is it Milo, King Pistachion, Dr. Zone, or Lardy Poi? Which of these do we not see anywhere? Not a picture of them. Nothing about them is in the title sequence. Milo, Dr. Zone, King Pistachion, Lardy Boy. He's probably more afraid of Melissa than any other girl he knows. That's pretty great. That's true. His siblings are mentioned in Fungus Among Us because he's like, yeah, they can eat food with their feet. I think that's the line. Final question. Well, we get it. Milo, Dr. Zone, King Pistachion, Lardy Boy. King Pistachion is not in the opening credits sequence. And most of you got that right. So let's see how this affects it. Here's the podium. Bum-ba-da-ram, 3rd place, the Lemon 27. Congratulations. And in 2nd place, the Lizard of Oz. And in 1st place, Dan dancing in the rain, just dancing in the rain. Congratulations with runners-up DOG and Pablo. Congratulations, guys. This was a lot of fun. I'm really, really glad that you guys stuck with me through Kahoot and enjoyed it. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining me on this episode of Phineas Flynn's Law Live. I know, Bob the Random Guy, not your best showing, but you know what's actually funny is that this was not the first time I had played this quiz. I actually played it over a year ago on a different Phineas Flynn's Law Live, and I don't think anybody noticed, which means I got away with it. And yes, Dance in the Rain. Congratulations. Now you can use it as a badge of honor. The live stream's gonna be up as unlisted if you want to record your win as proof for the future. And I will be coming back with another live stream, hopefully within the next week or so. And I will have a new Kahoot, not a reused one. So again, thank you so much. I really hope you enjoyed the interview with can't say the name. Aaron Daniel Jacob. And if you want me to interview more people from Milo and the crew, let me know down in the comments below. Give this video a like. Please share the bits of the interview that you liked, or tell your friends about Phineas Flynn's Law. Subscribe. Please, everything. Follow me on Twitter at PFML News. Follow Aaron on Twitter. I'm getting a Phineas Flynn's Law Instagram pretty soon, so you'll be able to follow me on that. And that's about it. So, again, thank you guys just so much for watching. And I'll see you next time on Phineas Flynn's Law.